All right. Has that woken everybody up? Let's go. Let's go. It's the Thursday night forum, you know, and we're going to talk about Arsenal. We're going to talk about various things. We're going to talk about Tony. Going to talk about Alonso, Gary, Stan, all these good things. First and foremost, let me thinking about this. Really appreciate all of you on the panel here who give your time and your energy to be here on Thursday nights and on Sundays most times as well. So
I appreciate Right, we appreciate that, but I've got to tell you one more time, checks still haven't cleared in my bank account, so I need you to get
okay.
on.
Well, that's why I appreciate you. You're so understanding, Stan. You know, your name is literally in the word understanding.
Yeah, notwithstanding.
You know? Right in the middle, notwithstanding.
Notwithstanding my checks that haven't cleared.
You have a lot of understanding. So, yeah, Stan, you can go first. Give us your opening piece.
I think I'm going to just kind of paraphrase the tweet that I put out because I'm still feeling like that. And I said, pinch me, because I did not believe that we would be in this position at this point when the season kicked off. You know, I thought that we would be struggling to, get into the Champions League. So, I mean, I'm more than happy with where we are at the moment and what is going on. And I'm looking forward to talking about the match and Arsenal in a bit more detail with you guys. But what a result. I was very worried. The Leicester game for me was like, I wanted to get the Leicester game out of the way because I was looking at the Everton game to see how much this team and the manager had learned against the Sean Dyche team we played them a few weeks ago because they managed to nullify us. But we showed everybody that we did our homework and we managed to find a way around that hurdle. So fantastic result.
Yep. Okay, let's go to Tony next. You know, the man, the myth, the legend. He's here tonight with us. Yeah, that's you, Tony.
We can't hear you.
He's the man, the myth, the legend has muted himself as well. So
there we go. Sorry.
Come on, you're not match fit, Tony. You have to get up to speed.
I'm match fit. I'm getting over the pneumonia. It's almost out of my system.
He's the Arsenal fan circle's very own Abu Dhabi.
medical phenomenon, Tony Turner. Indeed.
I don't know who's had more.
Tony calls it pneumonia, but usually you should just call it Thursday. Just another Thursday in the Tony house.
Just call it sniffles.
Just an automatic Thursday.
Tony's got a touch of not to make light of pneumonia, but Tony's got a touch of the pneumonias.
I'm surprised, right? Because I thought you'd be really warm in Oklahoma with all those train fires surrounding you that I've been reading in the news. I thought it'd be really, nuclear warm there at the moment.
It's a little further away from him, right?
It was still 75 yesterday.
Geographically. BX Gunner. Hello, everyone. Good evening and welcome. Welcome to you, BX Gunner. Don Juan, Tony's number one fan, is here. Come on, you Gunners. Welcome, Don Juan. Welcome here. Always. The Ray channel, a Tom speech there. I'm not sure. What is a Tom speech? Can we define that, Gary? What is a Tom speech?
Nonsense.
Okay. I just about touched the upper echelons of nonsense there. 3 wins in a row, Don Juan said. Now on to Bournemouth. Tony is the Messi of the pod. Yeah.
Very messy.
Very, very messy. All right, Gary, what have you got for your opening salvo?
Yeah, I wanted to see us just continue to improve since we had a little blip. We've been doing that. Started out, I was like, oh damn, are we still not going to get there? But then we basically showed that we're getting back to where we want to be, and pretty much the scoreline like is we kept it close. You know what I mean? The scoreline was, so I'll take it. It was a really good win. We needed the points. All I want right now is 3 points. If they look like this, I'll take it. But all I really want is 3 points going forward because I didn't like that little blip that we had. Not at all. Not the way we've been playing either. So our form is continually to improve. We are getting healthier. So watch out, everyone. So hopefully
Yeah.
that's a good sign as we get healthier and healthier and bring everybody back. So it will be Easter soon. He is risen, as they say.
Mhm.
So we shall see what happens there. But no, I'm happy with the 3 points. As you say, a little bit of a roller coaster ride for me watching that game. But we finished strong. We finished. We
Mhm.
made it. We didn't. We know. So I'll take it. But yeah, we'll get into the bits and pieces of the game that I saw.
Yeah, the blip was losing. I forget a little bit. Losing to Everton, a draw that should have been win against Brentford, and then was it another loss? Yeah.
Lost to
City
City.
and Newcastle. We should beat Newcastle. I
Should
guess.
have been, we lost to City, we lost to Everton. We should have
Yeah.
beaten Newcastle. Yes.
Lost to City
Uh,
twice.
Yeah, lost City twice, but many have said we haven't faced City with our first choice, first choice 11. Let's say,
Partey doesn't like playing in the big games. We always seem to miss him in the big games. So
Yeah. Let's get him. Let's get him for the big games. Alonso, what's your thoughts so far this season?
Hello, everyone. Yeah, I mean, I think yesterday was indicative of what a healthy and a good Arsenal can do when it's there on a point. I think yesterday it showed. And I think, you hear commentators saying that they're playing beautiful football. We haven't seen that at all in previous years. So once they're doing that, I think things are going good. I think it's a very clean sheet. I think you're seeing the strength of the team now, and that's the back four. I think they're not a strength, but they come along very well recently. Um, we all know how hard it is to constantly do that on a constant basis, not give up any goals. But you're seeing a solid partnership with Saliba and Megalesh, and you're seeing two good fullbacks and Ben White and Zinchenko. But it's kind of funny because yesterday you seen Zinchenko play. Let's see, right back. You see him play midfielder. You see him playing attacking midfielder. See him playing on the left as well, which is kind of interesting, but kind of risky. But I think we're so good now. Our Arsenal are so good now that they get away with that, and they cover pretty well also. Um, and seeing Gabriel Marcelli.
Did he crash on us?
Yeah, he needs to put another 50p in
Uh,
the meter there. You know what I mean? We used to play snooker back in the day in Ireland. Had to pay for lights.
uh,
And my game, I
he
had to
was
hurry my game. People would make me rush my
he's
shots.
tired and all that stuff.
Oh boy.
All right.
If you can hear us, Lonnie, log out and come back in because
No.
you're frozen.
Alonso has touched on some good points. Zinchenko being deployed, a midfielder who can play fullback, a midfielder who can play left back, has probably a midfielder who has believed and told our players to believe. Don't go for top four, go for winning the league. And Zinchenko is popping up now in all areas of the field in midfield. I didn't expect him to be in that position to feed Bukayo Saka for the first goal. For almost the Erdegaard role, where he popped up on the field. So, but
You're not used to him being all over the pitch yet?
What, Tony?
I said you're not used to him being all over the pitch yet?
No, I'm not used to it. But he has transformed our team a little bit. Arsenal haven't been this good in 20 years. So Tony, I watched the highlights of the game, and by all accounts, I didn't see the full game yet. By all accounts, we started off pretty slow, Tony.
Yeah, I missed that first half. Who has the reverb going on? Who's the guilty one? Yeah, I missed the first half, went back and watched it. We weren't doing much of anything until we got the goal. And then after that, as show was on, we should have beat them like this for first game. No excuse to lose to them. But here we are again, back on the top of the table where we want to be.
You make it sound like it happens every day, Tony. You know, here we are again, back at the top
of the bloody league.
We
I'm
never
tired of
left.
this
We
shit.
never left the top of the league. We've been there. We've been there since December, man. Come
Boring
on.
now.
Been there
This is
since. Been there
This
for
is so
months.
boring. You wanted this, Tony. You wanted the non-roller coaster.
I like boring. You like us picking up points, right? Or do you want us to struggle?
Tony
Yeah,
found
listen.
things more exciting under Unai Emery.
Yeah, big sniff. Alonso will be back, I'm sure. BX Skinner said Arteta's found his mold in Odegaard. It's a random thought, but look at Arteta 10 years ago for Arsenal. Looks very similar to how Odegaard is playing.
I don't see that.
Oof, that's
A heartbeat.
I don't
Listen,
mean to disagree, but I would actually say that when Arteta played for us, he was probably more in a Jorginho-y role or more of a he didn't set up a lot or score a lot. He was more of the person that would help in transitions.
yeah. And they called him.
When he played for Rangers, he played more like Odegaard, but by the time we got him, his legs couldn't do that anymore.
Yeah. He was more, I think he was known as the metronome of the team, Stan.
Yeah.
You know,
Yeah.
he kept things ticking over. He passed the ball in midfield, but not as dynamic as Odegaard. There are similarities in terms of leadership and
If
wanting
Arteta
to
would
get
try
on.
to make that stretch for that ball that Odegaard did, he would have snapped his leg. His leg would have snapped at the exertion.
Yeah. Yeah. Gary, what's your thoughts on that comparison?
no.
With
No.
just
No.
Outright no. Yeah.
For me, no.
Yeah. Second 2-0 win of the season. Stephen is here. Good to see you, Stephen. So yeah, when we met Sean Dyche and Everton a few weeks ago, we experienced what is known as the new manager bounce. Well, yesterday we bounced
The new manager
Everton,
block.
the new manager block, the V block.
Or coach. Bus. Whatever you want to call
We
it.
bounced Everton yesterday, Alonso.
Yeah, and it showed because Melissa Park has always been a place that the crowd can affect the way the opposition is played sometimes. And I think Arsenal got caught off guard a little bit. I think they weren't used to getting bullied. They weren't used to that environment where they had a new manager bounce, whatever. So I'm hoping that that'll make Arsenal stronger. Since I lost, they won 3 straight games. So it's a tough loss to muscle because we all know we're better than them. And they could be relegated. And it happens. It happened to Man City, I think, last year that they lost to the team that was right on the table. So sometimes that those teams can come back and embarrass the team that's trying to win a trophy. So it was a good loss in the sense that they I'm sure they humbled them a little bit. Everton humbled Arsenal a little bit to know that they're bigger than them and they need to play like champions should, But yeah, I think that it was a great revenge game, I guess. And they've been poor this year, and that loss was unacceptable. But it happens. And the way they responded so far has been pretty good.
Yeah, as thank you, Alonso. Gary, as Don Juan says here, the first 40 minutes, Everton looked very comfortable. They even had a chance to go 1-0 up. But, on 40 minutes, Bukayo Saka just doing Bukayo Saka things.
Yeah, no, for the first 30 minutes, I think we looked a little out of sorts there. We weren't even getting to the fact that we weren't even getting to the point where we were getting scoring opportunities. We were misfiring a couple of times. We were hesitant a couple other times. So the chances just weren't there and weren't as good as you saw later in the game. So I think we started out slow. I think we were hesitant to do things. We thought it was going to be like the last time we played them, and it wasn't. I think we just needed to kind of the way we finished off the game, where we basically just like we're trying to score on every attempt to go into their final third. That's the way it should have been in the first half. We just were really hesitant. I mean, you even hear the commentators talking about, why didn't we just put that ball into the box? You had 4 players in there. We didn't even put the cross in. And then later on, after that 30-minute period, we started putting the ball more, getting more, putting the ball more into that final third with a little bit of conviction there. And then, as you said, once we get that first goal from Saka, which I think as we put more pressure on them, their defense broke down, and that's how Saka basically was sitting, unguarded inside the box, man. The pass was really nice. His first touch was really good, and he finishes strong. So I think they weren't getting much. They did have opportunities, but we weren't. I don't think we were taking our chances in that first 30 minutes there. And you saw for the rest of the game, we basically looked like we could score multiple times. I mean, and the score was 4, but it could have easily been 6 or 7 the way we were playing. So
we looked very comfortable in the second half.
Yeah. And I know we could probably say Partey made a difference when he came in, but I think we still had opportunities in that first half that we didn't take because we weren't taking our chances. We weren't taking our chances with the passes that we're putting in without any crosses. So for me, now we started slow, but once we got that first taste of blood, we basically ran with it, and they had no chance. They had nothing. They couldn't do anything after that. So yeah.
Mope, as BX said, Mope had too many sniffs in that first half. I think Arsenal were slightly nervous. They were trying to feel their way into the game. Stan, we have a run of games now where we should be able to. We've won 3 on the bounce now against Aston Villa, Leicester away from home, and now at home Everton. We have a run of games where we need to really start stockpiling some points here before we get into squeaky bum time. But this fixture, it went pretty well for us because we got that goal from Bukayo Saka, and then we immediately got a second goal a few minutes later, go in at halftime 2-0 up, and we're able to play some what they call, champagne football in the second half then.
I saw the first half a little bit differently, I think, to most, because I've seen people, and as Gary alluded to, that, maybe Arsenal were sluggish, couldn't get into the game. But I actually felt that for that first part of the first half, that it was more of a very tight chess game. And I thought that Everton were playing quite well in that spell. And it was going to take something a little bit special to unlock their defense and get something from that. And if you see Saka's goal, it was quite a special goal. And I think that just gave us the edge then and the impetus, because I think that then after that, Everton sort of like started to go back a little bit and be a little bit more defensive. But I felt for the first part of the first half that they were trying to match us, and it was quite an evenly paced game. They had spells where they had possession. We had spells where we had possession, and you'd have to wait for somebody to turn the ball over to get the possession back. But as I say, Saka is the real deal, and that goal, on his allegedly weaker foot, apparently, if that's his weaker foot, man, I'd hate to see what would have happened if he did that on his sweet left foot. He puts us ahead, and it's a. And again, I mean, if you look at the second goal as well, the second goal was, I might be moving on a bit quick, but again, it was a very opportunistic goal. So the first goal was a lovely bit of skill to put us ahead. and then we managed to be awake for that second goal, and we caught them napping a little bit, whereas we got that little touch from Saka to Martinelli. So I think it was, pieces of magic, pieces of skill that helped to give us the edge to go in at halftime 2-0 up. And then from then on, it was a different game. We had more authority on the game. We had a lot more confidence about how we were playing. Everton was sort of like working on damage control a little bit, trying to nick a goal, but being on damage control. And then when we got the third, they completely went into their shells.
Yeah, definitely. As Steven says here, though, there was no manager new bounce in the first match. We were awful. If we strung two passes together, it was a miracle. In this match, even in the first 40, we were much better in what we were doing. Yeah, and it's a little bit of home comfort as well. As Stan said, though, Bukayo Saka right-footed shot into the roof of the net. The only place really he's probably going to beat Pickford. And we've seen him do that at Ellen Road before. We've seen him do it at Brighton, in numerous places using that right foot. And if that's his weaker foot, there's a lot more to come from that kid. He's really, really pulling Arsenal through. I think I sent some. There's Saka now is on 10 goals and 8 assists, maybe 9 assists. I'm not sure.
It's 9. I think it's 9.
Yeah. Martinelli, with his 2 goals, has gone up to 11, top goal scorer right now. So there's a real battle for who's going to be top goal scorer. At one point, it was Erdegaard early in the season, and then, but yeah, well, long may continue that these players again pass 10 goal contributions and similar amounts in assists as well. Tony, your thoughts on the first goal?
Great shot.
Do show some enthusiasm.
I said it's a great shot. What else do you want me to say?
I'm just joking with you, Tony. Yeah, you've had a rough week.
It was a
so.
tremendous goal.
Yeah.
This whole left foot, right foot. He's played both sides of a pitch. He's dual-footed. I don't think he should really have a weaker foot when he played that much on both sides. So.
Yeah, I mean, if you can score a goal like that, Alonso, you're dual-footed, right? Because that right foot is just as good as the left.
It's ambidextrous.
Yeah, absolutely.
Yeah, it was a great pass by our makeshift number 10, Zinchenko. And it was a thunderous goal, Tony, right? But Bukayo Saka is like Stan had said, he didn't quite know what kind of player Bukayo Saka was going to be because we all thought it was all hype, at least, that's what Stan thinks, and I think there's something to say about Bukayo Saka and him being Arsenal's star boy, I guess, and the way he carries himself is quite humbling. I think that the future is very bright for him. And he's one of Tony's academy kids, right? So, there's something to say about him and
there's no academy kids that Arteta has used.
The way his goal is pretty special. I think that it brings other players in and it makes them a lot better, I think, so, well played with Saka.
Yeah. Gary did tenacity as well. He scored the first goal, right? He's not waiting around. He's hungry. He's not waiting to get in at halftime. He's hungry to get that second goal and to press that midfielder, I think it was, who was dwelling on the ball for the second goal.
Yeah. As I said, he got that first goal, and then at least Saka looked hungry for it because he was the one that made the play, and then was able to tip the ball forward to Martinelli, who must have saw it as well. But I that play there was what I feel was missing in that first 30 minutes, because that wasn't, they didn't give it to me. They went and got it.
Urgency.
They did. Yeah. No, they went and got it. No. It's mine.
Desire.
It's mine, right? And then they went and got it. That's how I felt about that one, and that's what was for me missing in that first 30 minutes. That kind of like, yes, you're trying to stop us, but that doesn't matter. We're still going to go out and we're going to get the goal that we need. So yeah, no, I enjoyed that. I mean, and it was crazy because you never get to see it happen because they flip over to the extra time clock. Next thing you know, boom,
Yeah.
Yeah, Saka
It's
is
cut
on
away.
is on a defender, and boom,
Kedia.
good. I don't know where I got it. I don't know why I've got Nketiah in my mind, but yeah, no, that
Where's Reddy
play
now?
that
when you
play
need
was
him?
that play was really good from Saka. I mean, we like he said, he does everything for us, and that's what he does. He's I know people are talking uh, about Erdegaard being our player, but Saka is basically our heart. I mean, whenever we need something, he's there. Think about it. All 11 goals he scored for us, all of them have either drawn or put us ahead.
Mhm.
So he scores when we need it. That's what you're looking for out of some of your players, and he's doing that. And he's what 21. So yeah, and he's still got room to grow, right? So yeah, I'm enjoying that. Enjoying watching him play.
Sky's the limit for the kids, Stan.
Yep.
You know?
It's the real deal. There's
Yeah.
no doubt in it. There's no doubt in it. I mean, we can see what he's doing at the age of 21. I mean, if you could jump into a time machine and go to when he's 26 years old and have a look at what he's doing, I bet you'd be frightened.
Yeah.
It's frightening. It's frightening what he's doing now. And as you say, he can start the momentum off and start us going right. And he showed that with that goal yesterday. It started us off, and he was the one that was awake to get that movement going for that second goal for Martinelli to score as well. So
Yeah.
he's sharp. He's on it.
And it's crazy to think 3 years ago he's playing fullback or wing back, whatever
Hey,
you want
the
to say.
key is to get on the field, right? You need to get your minutes, and he took advantage of an opportunity, and I need you to play for me. Boom,
You
he gets
know
on the
what?
pitch, and I mean, because I always thought when we needed, back in those days, I was like, just play him at left back, right back, so he can play. So I just wanted to see him on the pitch.
Yeah.
Everybody's like, no, he's a winger. I'm like, I get it, but we seem to not want to play him there. So just get him on the pitch because he seems to be able to do everything anyway. So get him
And
on the pitch, and we'll be all right.
even at left back or left wing, whatever he was playing, he was producing. He was producing assists. He was helping the team score goals. And we all remember that first game, right? West Brom away, where Arteta played him on the right wing, and we're like, hold on a second, but he didn't skip a beat, and that's the sign of a really, really good player.
Sign of a footballer, right? That's what when they talk about footballers, that's what they
Mhm.
look like. You just put them on the field and let them go.
Yeah, whatever position he's comfortable on his left, comfortable on his right. Produced at left back Alonso, and now he's producing for us on that right wing. So much so we can't imagine this team without him. You know what I mean?
Yeah, and I remember the hype around Bukayo Saka and how he was used at. I think was it United Emery that first put him on
Yeah.
in the Europa League,
Yeah,
and I was like, okay, this guy could have it, but he has to be used in a way that he has to be careful with him because he's still very young. And I remember during the COVID year that he just carried him on ransom and was now on the regular starting 11. And I was like, okay, this he could be something. But now I had to watch out for him. And then he just went on with it and became a star overnight, it seemed like, And it's not only for Arsenal, but also for England as well, and how he's become a key part of the team moving forward. And hopefully, Saka can use him well,
yeah. Got to go to Tony. Tony, let's talk about Unai Emery and you've been talking about it, the part that he has played in giving debuts to certain players. So who did he give debuts to? Emile Smith Rowe,
Martinelli,
Saka.
Guendouzi.
Mm-hmm.
Um,
So a shout out for Emery.
the boy me and you both liked that went away 2 years ago.
Who was that? Pepe.
You know who it was. Come on. Was it Pepe?
Yeah.
Who did you not want to leave?
I didn't want Pepe to leave. I thought that he would provide.
It
He
wasn't
always
Pepe.
provided. He
Long
always provided
injury.
goals and assists. But I do see now on this Arsenal side and what Arteta was trying to do in terms of instituting absolute control over games. We're dominating possession. I think we were somewhere like 70% possession, 75% possession in this game. And, if you hold the ball, if you keep the ball, you're going to eventually work the openings, Stan, and you're eventually
73%
going to
rate.
get goals, huh?
73%.
73% control over that game, Stan, at home against Everton.
My only concern with Saka is that I don't know what this team looks like without him in it, and at some point we're going to have to see. I mean,
Yeah.
he hasn't been taken out yet, and as much as I want him in because he does things, does he need rest? Can he keep going? I mean, I don't know what the answer is. They probably have a better idea, right, when the player gets into the red zone.
Yeah.
But at some point, you're going to have to think he's going to have to come out at some point, and I'm interested to see what we look like and how we line up without him in the side. Who goes on that side?
We've got 8 players who have played.
It's not sustainable.
Who played 24, at least 24 of 25 games. So it's not just Saka. I mean, you pull out, you can. There's 8 players that have played predominantly most of all of our Premier League matches.
Yeah.
So
He doesn't.
Do you want to
even
know
get
how
subbed
many
off,
minutes
does
he's
he?
played?
Some of those players get subbed off at points, but he seems to last 90 minutes.
Do you want to know how
Yeah.
many minutes he's played?
Go on,
2,566.
Yeah. And Gabriel Magalhaes is another
That's
one as
almost-
well. That is a constant. Saliba's a constant as well in the side.
Saliba's
Ramsdale.
quite a bit down from him.
yeah, no, I think so. Margulis and
Load.
Ramsdale played the same
Yeah.
amount of minutes.
Yeah.
So that's. I mean, Margulis. We haven't seen what happens without him because that's another one of those kind of like issues we'll have once we have to start. If we could rotate our players, which we can't, because he's played every Premier League match, and just like Ramsdale has. Those are the only 2.
Yeah. Don Juan said Trossard can play right wing. We have now. As Gary said, we're coming out of sort of a little bit of an injury spot in the squad where we had Emile Smith-Rowe injured, Reece Nelson and Gabriel Jesus injured, and now we're going to get we were playing in points where Kieran Tierney had to come on to cover for Martinelli in one game, because we didn't have that cover in the forward positions. But now hopefully we're going to come out of this patch where we get Gabriel Jesus coming back. Maybe we could see him on Saturday. Who knows? I'm thinking Bournemouth maybe would be the best place to reintroduce him back into the side. Everton would have been a bit dangerous for me because of the physicality. We've got Martinelli, we've got Trossard, we got Nketiah, we got Jesus, we got Saka. So there's a lot of players there but Bukayo Saka is the constant, right? And we do need to see what that looks like.
Megalegs has played 2,833. Ramsdale 2,460.
Players are supposed to play 40 plus games, BX Skinner, and that's what Mikel Arteta has insisted about seeing.
But not that many minutes.
Saka.
That's way too many minutes.
Maybe Jesus will be on the bench for Saturday. We'll get into Saturday in a little bit, but that's Bukayo Saka. Anyone else got anything else they want to say about Bukayo Saka that hasn't been said already, or just to say it again?
I don't want to see him get to the stage where he's 25 years old and he's a lot slower and a little bit more burnt out. And I always felt that was kind of like Hector Bellerin. I know that he had an injury, but I do think that he went through a period of time where he was just the only person in the team at right back. And I think it might have burnt him out a little bit at such a younger age and probably didn't help with him getting an injury, which has affected his pace.
Yeah,
I don't want to see that happening to young players.
Yes, that's why I was a little surprised that Reece Nelson, we haven't seen him appear yet, even though I thought he had started practicing before Emile Smith-Rowe, which kind of tells you where Arteta's head is in terms of I believe that's the case. Tells you where his head is in the sense that we could have pulled Saka in this game. You're up 3-4-0. You don't need. He doesn't need to see out the game at that point. But we bring in Milsworth Rowe. We don't take out Saka, and we don't bring in Nelson. I think he was on the bench the last couple of games. So, does he not trust Reece? Because when Reece came in for him early in the game, the man scored 2 goals. So I don't know, what more do you want from a player when he gives you that? I assume
He's not going to be coming on much with just
when you're up 3 or 4-0,
Right.
you
When
can
you're
take
up
Saka
3-0.
out.
Yeah.
I agree, but Arteta's never going to do it. He hasn't done it yet. So even in cup games.
Yeah, there's no better time than doing that when you're 3-0 up that you could take Bukayo Saka off. I think Arteta will sign someone to rotate with Saka. And maybe we see this on Saturday. He's got to get a breather. We got this Europa League coming up where the T is going to be stronger or weaker in certain sections. The mix between the first 11 and the squad will be integrated more in the Europa League. We still need an additional winger to help Saka. So
Candia get another start.
Eddie Nketiah could come in for Saturday. We're going to be looking at the Europa League next, but don't take eyes off this Premier League. These 3 points are vital. We're in a situation now where we have to. I said squeaky bum time earlier, and Alonso was laughing about that, but that's a real thing. That is a saying in England, and it's the run-in the last 6 or 7 games, Alonso. Squeaky bum times, Alonso, and about coming up in April.
Well, I usually call it defense time. Anyway, yeah, I mean, I think in the past, as Arsenal supporters, we kind of worried about too much about February and March because that usually kind of hurts the title chances. I mean, look at 2016, right? That was a pivotal month in the title race against Leicester, and they blew that. And you can never rebound from that. And then there were some blunders in there, like 2007-8, when we also Eduardo to injury, and all fell apart because of that one key player being hurt. So, I'm hoping that the starting 11 stay healthy throughout this whole title race because every player is important. And, you never know what could happen. This is the Premier League. This is the best league in the world. So things can happen, which I hope they don't to Arsenal, but hopefully to Man City where they have injuries and they stumble. And this is the first time being up front in the league. So Arteta has to be cautious of what could happen as well. And I'm hoping that he learns from the mistakes last year where he has to rotate players.
Yeah.
They're more capable of playing. And I think he has to learn from his mistakes and realize that this is not to be messed with. And has to use his time wisely.
Yeah, Stan, we're coming into a situation where Mikel Arteta rightly or wrongly insists Bukayo Saka is a world-class player and he needs to play every game. But also, we're coming to a point where he does need to have a rest. And whether that would be on Saturday or at Sporting Lisbon, there's definitely got to be a point in the season where he's not playing one game or he's on the bench resting, Well,
I just hope, they've got a lot more equipment at their disposal and machines and monitoring systems than I have. And, Arsene Wenger used to talk about this mythical players getting into the red zone, whatever that means. So they must have something somewhere with a needle on it. And they're looking at Bukayo Saka and it's probably not in the red yet. So as long as they're doing their jobs and they just make sure that he's taken out as and when, as I say, my biggest worry is that it's all good now, but I want to see Bukayo Saka playing at the same standard when he's 26, 27, 28. I don't want to see a player that's a former shell of themselves because they're burnt out.
Yeah, he does seem to be made of stronger stuff.
Yeah.
Gary, what's your thoughts on? I think I know your thoughts on Bukayo Saka. He does need to get a rest at some point, right?
Yeah. Oh, well, what do I say? Rotation. We need to be able to have a
Yeah.
rotation of
Yeah.
players since day one. If you just need it. No player plays every game. I mean, they don't. I mean, they could, but they don't. And there's a reason why. Um, I just, yeah, until Arteta has the guy, until he feels comfortable with whoever he has on the bench, we're just going to see this. He's just going to play his strongest team. That's what we've seen so far. And none of these all these games are important. I mean, if we make it through March slightly unscathed, April won't be as bad, but we do have some tough matches in April, but we do a lot of work in March. We might be fine. We might be fine, right? Because
Yep.
nobody expects everybody to go unscathed through the rest of the season. So the least scathed we are, the least points dropped we are compared to
Mhm.
everybody else, the better off we are, because that just extends our lead. So yeah, no, I Saka shouldn't. He at the point where we are right now, Saka shouldn't have to play, but the things that he brings to the table, who's going to pick that up? We've seen it from, I believe we've
Yes.
seen it from
There's
Jesus.
going to be a fall off for sure.
You've
Yeah.
seen it from Jesus. We're seeing it from Saka. Who's the next player that will do anything they can to make sure we get a point, get 3 points? Who is that player? You know, especially in the attacking side. I know it looked like Trossard was the player for us. He would do everything, but didn't see it as much in that first half against Everton. So
Yeah.
somebody needs to step up. That's all. And like, who is it? Doesn't really matter as long as for us. It definitely needs to happen on the attacking side. Defensively, I think we've been pretty solid back there, but offensively, we need somebody to step up in that final third.
Yeah, when you look at our forward line, it's always going to be Bukayo Saka. We're always going to say our strongest 11 includes Bukayo Saka on that right wing. Stan,
Can I just
on
say as
the-
well, I
yeah.
just want to mention when we talk about, resting players and rotation, I don't think that we're in a position yet, like Man City, where we can take 6 or 7 out of our starting lineup, put another 6 or 7 in, and expect the same result. So I think you have to be a bit clever and do a bit more of a mix and matching. If you're going to take Saka out of the team, then you have to make sure that you've still got a lot of your strong players in there to carry the loss of Saka and to
Yeah.
pick up the slack of,
Yeah.
say, a Reece Nelson that comes in. And therefore, when you're going to go and play, say, a Europa game, you don't want to have your team being, the backup, all of them in there, the Rob Holding, Reece Nelson, Eddie, Jorginho. You need to sprinkle it. So you have to. I think I hope Arteta is not thinking to himself, right, when I get to this game, I'm going to rotate everyone, give them a breather. Then the next game, I'll bring them back. You have to do it gradually. You've got to take a few out at a time. When you put them back in, then you take the next few out. So you try and have a bare bones of quite a strong team that you field with maybe 3 changes, 4 changes. Because I fear that if we go all out and try and field a total B team and to rest everybody at once, you're going to see that we ain't going to look nothing like how we do look. There'll be a big
Yeah.
drop off.
See
Well,
that?
I mean, that's the problem, right? We're 25 games in, and we've got 8 players who have played most of the matches. So that's why I've always wanted it. We needed to be able to have done it long time ago.
Yeah, you're
Long
right.
time ago. Like
Well-
when we started the Europa games, yes, they're group games. That's when we needed to start like, all right, maybe we'll give you, instead of, because right now we were just giving players 7 minutes, 8 minutes, 10 minutes at the end of games. That's when you maybe needed to give them maybe 20, 30 minutes, so that like when they go into the Europa League games, they've actually played some football,
Mhm.
right? As opposed to just come in for like 10 minutes and get nothing out of it.
Yeah.
That's
And
what
he was doing
that's what
that in Europa, but
I-
No. But I
did-
mean, no, Europa League is one thing, but we always talked about, well, Eddie got Europa League games, but he needed to be playing like whenever we played, he needed to be playing him with more minutes, I feel, so that when he did get into
I thought
Europa
he was
League,
getting 20 minutes pretty regularly.
we saw a lot of subs after 80 minutes. A lot of subs, and it's like, what's the point of that?
Do you remember? Was it earlier in the season or towards the end of last season where we went into some games where we had most of our second string on the field, and we had sort of a lot of our first team on the bench, and we had to call on them. We had to bring them in because we couldn't finish the job.
Yeah.
Well, you know,
Um,
one they don't play that much together, and two, they probably are coming in right off the street, right off the bench, right? And that's what we saw. I mean, that's what we saw. That's what I believe happened when we brought in Tomiyasu in that game where he kind of, he made a mistake, right? The man hadn't played for like a month or two, and then was all of a sudden asked to start in one of the biggest games we had of the year. No, he needed minutes before that. He's good enough to start for us last year. He should be good enough to start for us this year. You know what I mean? Like
I thought he was our
Tierney,
number one right back. I thought he was our
Tommy.
right back, number one
Yeah,
right back at
no.
one
Think about it.
point.
Tomiyasu, Tierney were starters for us last year. They can start some games for us this year in the
Yeah.
Premier League. You know
Yeah,
what I mean? Not
they can.
all, but some. Like give guys a rest. And if you want to bring them in at halftime, bring them in at halftime. Cool, like he did with he started Jorginho knowing he was sick instead of
So
just
let me ask you, like Gary, right? Would you make them changes, like you say, like the fullbacks should come in and play? Would you do it against Bournemouth, which on paper should be an easy day out at home, or is the league too risky in your eyes to mess around? And would you rather do it against, say, Sporting?
Our next two
I
fixtures.
it needs to be just a regular thing that we do, so we don't like have to or say now we're going to do it now. Like it should be like we play the way that these players play. At some point, like you said, there's a chart that goes. You know what? Not necessarily. I don't want him to get to the red.
Mhm.
So you know what? Let's just rotate now, and then you go. Why isn't he starting? And that's not up to us to decide, but it's up to the coaching staff to realize before a play even gets to that point where
Hmm.
they're fighting
Yeah.
through a 45-minute period, and then maybe they look good at the end. But that's up. There's got to be a way to do this. This is a happy medium, and you don't go
Yeah,
out your way.
but for me,
You don't go out your way and spend money on players, and then you don't even trust them enough to go out there and do the job for you. That's kind of where I feel like they lose me sometimes. It's like you made a point to bring these players in, and you put money on the table to bring them in, and then for some reason they still can't do the job.
yeah.
And we've seen time and time again that all these players have a talent. The trick is just to get him out, to get him. Most of the time, it's just minutes, right? We all expect Fabio Vieira to be able to play more minutes for us, right? And we're not seeing it, right?
Arteta has hinted that will happen with Martinelli as well. The connection that they have on the field, you're going to see more and more of that.
And also, I think
Right.
BX Gunner's right there. He says, I think with the adrenaline will carry them. When you're winning, you're riding high.
Winning games.
You can go a bit further than when you're down in the doldrums fighting for
Yeah.
relegation, and every game becomes a
Yep.
slog and a battle.
This is important. Don Juan said having a strong squad is what takes us to the next level. Burnout and mental fatigue will hit with Champions League. This season is preparation for the Champions League. This
But if
European
you're not rotating your
campaign.
players now, what are you going to just test it out next year in the Champions League?
No, but that's got to happen now. We're going to be playing Saturday, Thursday, Sunday, Thursday.
That should have happened for me when we started having these midweek games. Not now that it's the end of the season, because now you've got a flow to how you're going to bring
But-
players in and out. Think about it. When we played in the Carabao Cup, that was probably
Mhm.
the first time we've rotated that number of players out of the starting lineup, right? And look how I don't think it's a surprise that what happened afterwards. The team's just not used to like having so many players come out and go back in all of a
The
sudden
way-
and try to catch fire again.
It's like comparing a Ferrari to an old jalopy.
The way I characterize that one though is those players that come in, they have a responsibility to play as well. They're
You
not
can't
just
teach-
going
they
out there
don't-
to get minutes.
But they don't play. How in the world can a player be expected to perform if they don't play? You just can't
That's
sit them
right.
on the sidelines and all of a sudden, after a month or two, say, "Come on in
Right, you're
and
in.
do what you did." No, it doesn't work that way. That's why you rotate your players.
Gary,
City
I-
does it, and I know what I understand. The City has better players on their bench,
Yep.
but we have to rotate our
I
players.
I take
regardless.
on board what you're saying, and I believe
Look at
you're right. And I
Teabag,
agree
right?
with
He's
you.
starting to Teabag's
Like-
coming in now. Almost each game, he's coming in for that, and he's looking good, right? He's
My
looking better.
question is,
He's
yes,
looking
Gary. My
comfortable.
question is, do you see more and more
You think he's
rotation?
looking that much better,
You
Stan?
want more rotation, Gary, but do you see it happening? If it's 10
It
minutes,
needs to happen, or else then
more.
we see what we saw last time, where all of a sudden things break down towards the end of the season, and we're like, now we have to bring somebody on and expect them to perform,
Okay.
and then go, and then I'd rather not have that. I'd rather go, you know what, this person has played before, so it's not a surprise when they come in. But I know we wanted to do a little unraveling here.
Yeah, I want to
This
be
is
like Brad Pitt. Can I be like Brad Pitt in 7? What's in the box, Gary?
yeah, what's in what's in the
What's
box?
in the box?
So yes, so what's in the box is
Tottenham
Tottenham
get
get
battered.
batted everywhere they go.
Wow,
basically.
look at that mug.
Wow. This
So, Gary, where did you get such
I got
a
this
beautiful
from
vessel?
on the Etsy site. Guna Shack has a lot of offerings. One being lots of mugs. They have hoodies. They've got caps. They've got what is it called? Those little like thermos glasses. Can you show them, Stan, what they got?
Yeah.
For your coffee or your tea.
yeah,
I got beer in this. I keep mine in the freezer and put beer in it.
Trossard the process.
Just
Trossard
hard.
the
Okay.
process.
No, like I said, I just want I think we've got talented players. We're not utilizing them, and then I just because I feel Fabio Vieira gives us something that we don't have. All right, I like when he's
Mhm.
flowing right. He can kick. He can volley like nobody's business. He puts crosses in right. He's put a cross into Nketiah for a header, so he's got that in his
Well,
locker as well. So I think
yep.
we've got players with talents. We just don't. We don't see enough of it.
We're getting to a point in the season, Gary, where we have to see them more now. You
You're
know,
not going to.
Um, that's what in the box. What's in the box, Gary? Segue to Tottenham getting battered. It's a perfect segue to the Tottenham getting battered just recently in the FA Cup.
Can you
Harry
imagine if
Kane,
we paid the money for Richarlison, 60 million, and he was playing? Imagine to see the meltdown that we'd have now. I mean, he's been part of 16 games, man. And did you see that video of him trying to take that shot? And it was like
Corner post.
banana shot, man. Banana.
hit the corner
But,
flag.
it couldn't happen to a nicer gentleman.
Let me pick up. So we mentioned Saka, right? We are so happy he's an Arsenal player. We've been watching Saka growing this team, and in many ways, he's dragged Arsenal by their bootstraps to where they are now. And we've added a couple of players in. I'm reminded that Matt used to talk about sprinkling the dust. That the extra couple of things that needed this young team to kick on, and that was Zinchenko and Jesus, Saliba coming back, and we're here now. So Saka, we love to watch Saka every week and what he can do for us. He's dragging us to a point where we're 5 points clear. We're flying high at the top of the league. Now on the other side, Martinelli, he tucked away that goal very nicely to go 2-0 up. Always play to the whistle, right? And but I think Trossard coming in January has sort of kickstarted Martinelli again. Do you agree? Disagree?
I can I say, well, I looked at the heat map yesterday, and even though you look at the formation and you see Trossard starting through the middle, some say as a false 9, the heat map shows that he was operating a lot from the left, and Martinelli was operating a lot through the middle. It just shows you that what you see on paper at the beginning of the match isn't necessarily what's going to go down. That they're not wedded to those positions, and I don't think that the heat map for Eddie would have been the same as Trossard's. He would have been more central, which then probably is hindering maybe slightly Martinelli's game if he likes to come into the middle so much. He needs to have someone that's going to give way to him and then take up that position, because it was Trossard that assisted Martinelli.
Yeah, if you look at the two goals, those two goals, like you said, the first goal, Martinelli is to the right of of Saka. He's all the way right, and that's why it's Nketiah, and that's why Saka can come inside, and it's Saka and it's Erdogan, I think, in the box if I recall, and then you've got so not Jesus, but Zinchenko allows us to just move around those guys a lot easily. And I even with Nketiah, I think we still needed him to do that. Not because he can do it any better, but because it opens things up for that team. And who would right now, who would you rather have going into the middle based on what we saw, right? You would probably
Mm.
want to have either Saka or Martinelli going through the middle because they're I think they're comfortable taking that ball in there more than Nketiah is. He's going to
Yeah.
run out. He's going to run on the end of passes, but to take that ball in like you've seen from Trossard and all of that, he's not there yet. So yeah, no, it's really
My
good. Yeah,
my contention has been, Arsenal are looking for forwards. We have a couple of players there. And Kenny is about the only player that is wedded to being a striker. Gabriel Jesus can play on the wings, and Kenny is the only one that you would say would be uncomfortable on the left or right. So we have interchangeability, especially when Nketiah is not starting as well.
But it's
BX
funny
said,
that
yeah,
his finishing is the poorest, or he needs more chances to get a ball in the net, however you want to word it, compared to the other players, like you say, who aren't an out and out 9.
yeah. Gary said something on the Sunday show that Nketiah is the only player in the forward line that has is underperforming his XG, right, Gary?
yep.
Yeah.
Everybody else is like 1 or 2 goals above their XG, and he's like,
So
let's see, what is he at? He's got 4 goals, and his XG is 7.7.
right. So he's
So
missing some chances there,
But
and
I
we
want to
can.
big him up for his assist, though.
yep.
Because he missed that first chance, didn't he? When he came on and he went sliding in, and I was kind of like, here we go again.
He's not
Another,
hiding,
another sort of chance in the box chance he's missed, but to get the assist, fair play to him. It
Think
helps.
think about the Erdegaard miss against Aston Villa. If Erdegaard puts that away, Eddie gets another assist there.
Yeah.
Martinelli's on the left. Tony with Trossard and Nelson as backups. Fabio isn't at the level yet, and I don't see Fabio at right wing. But I think he's getting there. Maybe not a right wing. He's getting there more and more.
I don't think
Hey,
Fabio is a player that needed to play because one, he's coming from out. He's not coming from. He hasn't played in the English league at all, right? So he needed to play. That's the only way he was going to get better, so he can catch the speed of the game. We kept talking about, you know what? You need to put on some weight. It's either the weight or the speed of the game. Pick one of them. I think he can do the speed of the game once he plays, but he never really got a chance to do that. And playing in the Europa League doesn't help. You know what I
Yeah.
mean? He needed to play Premier League teams to catch up.
Question here. Well, BX's comment is making me think. What's the more important game for you, Bournemouth or Sporting first leg? I'm
They're
going with
all they're
Bournemouth.
all important. That's the
Okay.
problem. For me, no, because think about it. They're all important. Do we have a chance to win a trophy in the Europa League? We have a chance to win the league.
Mhm.
They're both important to our progress, and we don't want. We've already given way to the 2 English cups, right? We can't. I don't think we want to do
Yeah.
that. I think we want to try to, as I say, there's an opportunity to win every match, and we need to put our squad in a situation where they can do that. So
You
if that
train
means,
throughout the week to build cohesion. The
yeah,
team operates as a unit. Go ahead, Gary.
and I would say if that means we're bringing in and out like 3 players, because that seems to be the number of players that we can bring in and out, then so be it. Just so we can rest certain players, but we need to be able to. I think we need to be able to battle on both fronts. We've set
We're
ourselves up to
capable.
do that, and there isn't a team in Europa League that we haven't that is 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 any team in Europa League better than United at this point in the season, where the way they're playing. We've beaten United, so
There's some
kind
good teams in there.
yeah. But
I don't.
like I said,
I
Sorry,
go
go
ahead.
on.
have the banner for the ones who got. I have a banner for the ones who just came through the last round. Not came through the last round, but have been waiting. So these were the third place teams from the UEFA Champions League that dropped down. Some of these have dropped are out now. Ajax are out, I believe. It's amazing actually. Leverkusen is there still. Sporting Lisbon's there. Salzburg, Donetsk, Sevilla, and Juventus are still there. I think.
So I don't think we've got enough about us to actually wage a battle on two fronts at the moment successfully. And we've put ourselves in a position now where we can't afford to take our foot off of the gas in the league because we have a very capable team that's only 5 points behind us. So we have to always make sure that we can put out our best team in the league and try to continue to keep points between us and Man City. And I think as much as I want us to win the Europa for my completionist thing, I think that has to be not secondary, but that has to be
Yes,
maybe
secondary.
where we will, if we're going to rotate, maybe that's where we need to do more of that.
Yeah. I think differently because I feel like if we go out and we don't take it serious, the team isn't old enough, isn't wise enough, doesn't have the experience enough to take a loss and then just shrug it off. Just shrug it off and move on.
Well, I think
we
we've
have
done
done
that in the league, though, Gary. We
I-
have done that in the league.
When we lost to them, we came back straight
Yeah.
away, didn't we?
Yeah. No, I'm just saying when we left the league to go and play and we've had a setback. That's me.
Yeah.
Especially now, if you keep talking about this squeaky bum time, this is when that creates a problem, right? Because now every game's important, and you're saying if it's squeaky bum time, and we're traveling to Portugal, right? And we struggle there and we look bad. Will we be able to just shake it off, come back and play that weekend? With no problem.
I think we can actually,
No,
and I think if
that's what a squeaky bum sounds like, by the way.
we may lose an away leg. We may lose a leg in
All right.
one of the
Hell,
ties.
Tony,
And
find it in, right?
what?
You know, keep going on about losing legs every 2 seconds.
Speaking of Tony, he does need
A second leg
need,
is what he said. No, the away leg.
I need a
Sorry.
second leg and a wheelchair.
He needs a wheelchair and he needs Father Ted to push him around. We'll call you Father Jack, Tony. Call you Father Jack.
Yeah. Now think about it. Think about it.
You
We
make a great
struggle.
Father Jack.
If we struggle at Portugal and we come back, we play Fulham, right? Away. That's a
We're
tough.
not a
That's a
struggle
tough.
against Portugal. In Portugal.
I'm just based on what Ray just
Ding,
said.
ding, ding.
We could lose an away leg, right? That would So right now our first
Why do
Europa
we
League
have to
game is
call them
away.
legs? Come on. You guys are being mean.
Very right. You're very right, Tony. Why do we have to call them legs? I don't know.
A home and away sounds
Yeah.
better.
The first game against
Fixture.
Sporting, right? So yeah.
Yeah.
No, my thing is every game is important. I think they build on each other no matter who's playing, because I think we're still a young team, and it is crucial that we keep winning and playing up to the levels that we know we can. So that's why it's good.
One.
That's why I think it's good that we're getting healthy. We saw Milsrif Rowe play. We know hopefully Jorginho
that was
comes
good.
back healthy, so we know we've got cover there. We've got the fullbacks, right? We got the
Yep.
fullbacks, so Trossard can rotate with Nketiah or Martinelli, so we got cover there. Just Saka and I guess Xhaka and Erdegaard, who really don't have answers. We definitely don't have answers at center back, but that's just to be expected.
Yeah, Don Juan, I do like a good Father Ted reference there. Europa League hasn't affected Arsenal this season. We played our B team, or weak T team.
No, we haven't.
We have mixed the team up. It's about
Every
T,
single
right?
one, we've played at least 10 starters.
There's a part of me that wishes we weren't in the Europa League at the minute.
I love when Tony goes like this.
We can't show broad progress if we're not in it, and we can't just go from like. No, I just don't think you can go from I would have taken Champions League this year,
Mike Myers
but we would have been in the same situation as we are all right now. You're talking like I wish we weren't in the Champions League this year, but think about it. The only way we can show this is actually a good stepping stone. This is how it's going to play the game, and so we need this to build up to where we can play in Champions League. And
the
way that the player management is done should be no different, right? Because you want to win either your group or now in this case you want to win your these home and away matches. So I think it's actually This is good training for Champions League, and we should treat it as such.
Yeah, it is definitely good training for Champions League. And I think here you will see Fabio Vieira or T-Bag, whatever you want to call him, be
Teabag.
integrated into the team more.
It's not his name.
I think you're going to see him start soon. I think
Yeah.
you'll see him start a game soon.
Yeah.
Mikel Arteta did say something like that in the presser, you know.
Yeah. No.
Stan, are you selling,
Yeah. No. I was just gonna
you
say. I
selling,
think. Yeah.
go-
Go ahead. Sorry.
are you selling scarves, Stan? My old ones look knackered.
No, I don't do. I haven't got scarves. I can't find a knitter. So if I find someone that can do knitting and that for me, I'll get
Mrs.
on the
Kelly,
scarf.
you need a good Mrs. Kelly to do that for you. Get your cups of tea and knit. Gary, do you still have that point on the tip of your tongue?
No. It's just. I don't think we're gonna. I don't think we can take out 4 or 5 players, but we can definitely take out 3, right? Based
Mrs.
on what we.
Doyle.
Huh?
Sorry, Mrs. Doyle. Right.
Doyle.
Mrs. Doyle
Yeah.
makes the tea.
Yeah, she makes
Right.
the tea. Also, too much PTSD due to injury. I want to see a strong team against Sporting. Okay, Martinelli grabbed this. Did he grab the 4th goal? Yeah, before Odegaard scoring the 3rd goal. There was one I was watching was like the end of a sequence of many passes, and I think it was probably the Martinelli's goal.
Was that where all the crowd were going, "Hooray! Hooray!"
Where
Every
the-
time we passed the ball, they were, "Hooray!"
That was that was cool, man.
Capped off by a
hate
great
it.
pass from Granit Xhaka inside left. So this is maybe Granit Xhaka can get back to where he was before the World Cup started. Here we are on 60 points, Tony. We did this in 2004. We did this in 2008, right?
How come you haven't moved the goalposts?
Who?
You.
Huh?
Isn't
What?
this isn't 75 points just to get in Champions League?
You want me to change my
Shouldn't
my
shouldn't the goalposts be changed since we are?
Yeah,
you
yes,
changed
I've
it
said
once.
way back. Yes, I want to get to 75 points and with 5 games to go.
But that's Champions League. That's not winning the league.
I know, but Gary,
I want 80 points before that.
I think this
I don't know
is
what happened
important
to this.
because I think
What
this is
Gary, you're the
important
type of guy
because
that puts a tooth under the pillow, and in the morning you're vexed because it's not a $50 note.
You're
What
damn
happened
right.
to optimistic Ray with rainbows shooting out of his ass?
no,
What happened to that, Ray?
I am being optimistic because look back to where we were talking in the summertime. We all thought 75 points would be reasonable, you know.
We got 60 with 13 games to go.
Now, yeah,
How
but
many games is it?
in
Is it
August,
17?
13 left.
13.
13 games
13
left.
left.
I
Yes.
thought it was 17. Wow, that's even better.
2 weeks
Think about
before
that
we
then, because
played
I
Man
said to my
United,
missus,
where did
right, I
say
thought it
we'd
was
finish, Ray?
17. I thought it
Stan,
was 17, and I said to my missus, very soon we'll be talking about, wow, there's only 10 games to go. Wow, there's
squeaky
only
bum.
5 games to go.
You
So
didn't answer my question,
13.
Ray.
We're almost at 10. This is a home
Tony,
straight.
I'm trying to answer your question, Tony.
Home straight.
Why am I? Ask me the question, Tony, and I'll answer.
I said, where did I say we'd finish 2 weeks before we played Man United
Fifth.
earlier in the season?
I don't know. You tell me.
You don't remember my contender or pretender?
Yeah, you said we
Am I
finished second, right?
Yep.
Okay. After what I think we won the first 5 games, right?
No, 4 games.
No, we won the first 5 games. The 6th game was Man United.
I said it 2 weeks before we played
Okay.
Man United.
Here we go.
There was a famous guy in Ireland called Jimmy McGee. He was the memory man in Irish television. And Tony is Jimmy McGee, the memory man. You know, ask him a question, he'll know
I have to
anything.
keep you honest, Ray.
Darren
He
Brown.
can tell you when he said it and how he said it. And yeah, you know what? Most of the time, you're right, Tony. I can't catch you out at all.
Then he'll change his mind after the fact.
I think it's important, though, to leave 75 points up and say, this is what we thought we were going to do.
No,
in
I think it's
August.
important to change it to 80 points already, Ray.
Or I'll
80.
tell you.
90. 90 is the target now, really. If
So
we
then
get,
why didn't you update it?
listen, let's take a vote. Do you want, it's democratic here. So Gary,
Really?
do you want to change
It's
Oh no,
democratic here,
no,
is it?
Stan, Ray,
Really?
Ray.
democracy?
No, Ray, you don't know
That's it.
you're going down the wrong road. As your attorney, do not say another word.
Okay,
Do
okay.
not say no. Stan, whatever you thought you heard, strike that from the records. All right, strike it from the records. We're going.
Gary's as sharp as Saka today, mate. He's on it.
Gary,
He knows
Gary
exactly
is
where I'm
sharp.
going.
Ray's
He
about to
knows where
set
I'm
himself
going.
up.
He knows where I'm
Uh,
going. But you want to talk about democracy? We'll talk
No,
about democracy.
no, we're not talking about. We're
Oh,
talking about
please.
football here. Let's talk about football. Let's get away from the
We can talk
politics
about
and the.
rules. We can talk about rules changing
No, no.
mid-season.
Gary's on
We
it
can do
because he
that.
only has 6 more days at his current job. Then he can goof off more.
this is why I love you guys. So you hold me accountable, right?
Oh man, yeah, you almost went down the rabbit's hole, man.
Yeah.
You
Yeah,
know,
Gary, I'm
we're-
holding back. Right?
I
I'm
know.
holding back.
You could have. That's why I had to step in
holding
because
back.
Ray didn't catch it. He didn't catch it.
So Stan,
All right.
I'm going to feed Stan a question to get us off this topic.
You better be a
right?
good one. It better be a good
Change the
question.
subject. Stan, we have 13 games. Do you think we need to win about 10 of them?
We can't stop. As soon as we take our foot off the pedal, we've got them lot behind us. But yeah, I mean, why not? We've got this far. We've got to see it through to the end. You know, only
I
a couple
think,
of, only what two losses this season.
We've lost
Three.
3 in 25 games. No, we've
And how
dropped
many
points.
and how many draws? Was it 2 draws? 1 draw?
It's
There you
right
go.
down there.
Yeah.
Stan, it's right
Oh
down
yeah,
there.
sorry. Yeah, okay, yeah. All right.
Yeah, but we dropped points in 3 games out of
Why do I do these
25.
things for you people?
No, 3 games in 25 we dropped points. So we're not losing 3.
Stan's too worried about
13
getting
based on the
beers
way
in
we've
his
been
mug.
playing if our form stays where it is and Jesus comes back.
I've
If
got
Jesus
banners.
comes back, then I expect us to be able to have chances to win every game that he's playing,
Mhm.
no matter if he starts or not, because we know
Yeah.
when he comes off the bench, he'll be ready to go. But no, we just keep on if we keep our form, it keeps improving like it's done so far. We have chances to win every game we play.
This new dimension with Trossard coming in, Martinelli and Saka, is this the best we've looked up front all season? Alonso, yeah.
I think so. I think that whenever you add Trossard, he adds a dimension to the team,
Mm-hmm.
meaning he can play multiple positions and without being asked to. He's done things that he could integrate himself into a striker or center forward and played it off the wing like he did yesterday, and let Martinelli or Osaka roam where they want to. And we haven't had that in a long time. And that fluidity, that movement, and it makes other players better. Look at Odegaard scoring from the top of it.
Yeah,
being able to run, make his runs and score, right? So you're seeing that, and you're seeing Nketiah be able to make that movement as well yesterday, making assists, and Martinelli as well. So all that stems from, I think, Trossard. Other teams are used to that now at Arsenal, where other teams can play other players can play multiple positions, and you have to worry about that now.
Yeah, we've played teams that we should be beating, and we've beaten them. We've played Aston Villa, we played Leicester, we played Everton. We're about to play Bournemouth. But Gary, Stan, Tony, I'll put the question again that Alonso was answered. Is this a good combination that we've found now with Trossard, Martinelli, and Saka?
I think it's our best combination. I think our best combination obviously is with Jesus. But the difference, I think, between Trossard and Eddie is that when Trossard is covering for Jesus, and I know we've only seen it very minimally, it looks closer to what I think Mikel Arteta wants from the team when Gabriel's out. And I think it's a little bit different, a little bit more pointed when Eddie's in the team.
Yeah.
If that makes any
I think
sense.
That's fair. Due to the XG, underperforming in XG, Gary, a Trossard or Jesus, they look They look similar in terms of what they bring out of Martinelli.
Well, they create a situation where all the players can move into different areas of the pitch. That's what they do. Like I said, if Nketiah did that, it might make things a little bit easier. But he doesn't even he doesn't want to be out there on the wings. It doesn't seem it
That's
seems,
static.
and then when he does, like when we played, who did we play? Where I think it was Everton, where they had 2 and 3 players on both wing, Saka and Martinelli. He at least needs to show for the ball so they have a place to go, but he never was available to them. So, I think with Trossard, you see a little bit openness there. And the fact that at one point you've got Erdegaard ahead of Trossard, you're like, wow, it definitely opens up things for the game. So, yeah. And he's perfect for what we needed. I'm still surprised that he wasn't we didn't just go after him when he had an opportunity to get him first.
Trossard, yeah.
It sounded like he was offered to us more than we went after him. Because
Yeah.
he was bringing a lot. Because I thought it was always a attitude issue why he shouldn't come in, but he's been playing well for us. So
No,
I don't
him
know.
and the manager.
His
they couldn't get
attitude
along.
was that he wanted to move, I think, from Brighton.
He didn't like the manager. The manager
Yeah.
didn't like him.
Yeah.
Well, that could happen. We've seen that happen at Arteta, so that's why it's
We've also seen the way Brighton operate. They bring players in, buff them up, shine them up, and then they're ready for a big transfer fee.
He didn't have any
Mitoma
problems
was-
under Potter. Maybe him and this guy it didn't click. It doesn't mean that he's a troublemaker and gets into fights with every single manager, right? There was obviously something between those two personalities, but the manager since has come out and thanked him for what he's done. And he even said that he regrets a little bit how it ended. And he sounded like when he says he regrets it, he wasn't saying that as a point of, Trossard let himself down. I think he's talking about his actions and the part that he played in that. So, we all have arguments with people. I've had arguments with bosses before. So I don't think it's baggage that he carries with him.
I think that's good from De Zerbi. He's shown that he hasn't put a foot wrong very much in what he's done for Brighton. And to show, if you telling us what he just said there, Stan, it shows that he recognized when he has made a mistake as well. I think Mitoma also came forward and started to be the player that Brighton needed to put in their team, So they're trying to continually bring players in, and they've got an interest. They're going to be in an interesting place right now.
Yeah, we don't want to cause any problems with our feeder club. So,
yeah,
yeah,
but do they
Mitoma.
push on? Do they try to push on for Europe, or do they stay in mid-table and just move players on for huge fees?
They might bring Potter back, so you never know. They might want they might need, Potter might be available, so
a swap between Chelsea and Brighton.
There you go.
Zerbi
Scored
goes
more
to
goals though
Chelsea.
since Potter. They were a good team under Potter, but they didn't score as many goals, did they?
Yeah.
Seems to be a problem.
Stephen's hoping for 93 points minimum at season's end. We have 39 points more available from 13 games. That means we can get 99. That would mean dropping
2 losses. 2 losses is basically which is fine. We can't drop points in more than 3. So there you go.
And it'll be interesting to say, what's the minimum, Gary, you think we could win the league by? Like, what's the minimum points? I'm going to go with 89. This will just be interesting.
I don't know, but you just need whatever 1 point more than City. That's all I really care about. You know what I mean? Because 1 point more than City gives us that opportunity. Maybe we can also be able to compete as well for Europa League as well. It'd be nice to be able to have opportunities.
We should now have that ambition to go and fight the dual fight of Europe and the Premier League as well. Tony, 89 points. You think we need more?
I don't think we need more than that, because in the next 2 games, we could be 9 points up on them.
You think City are going to drop against Newcastle or Palace away from home, right?
Yeah, I think both of those could be draws.
Yeah, they're tricky games. And Newcastle are in a tricky position now. They've lost in a cup final, and they need to pick up again and fight Tottenham for top four.
Yeah, that's gonna be a tough game, and Palace hard to beat Palace at home. So
Yeah, we did the first game of the season. It's been a nice ride, non-roller coaster ride since then, right, Tony?
thankfully,
Hey, well, hopefully we're all going to be celebrating and laughing at the end of the season. We got 13 more games to do that, Gary, and
Yes.
let's go, let's do it. You know,
Yes.
Um, are we at a point now, Gary, where let's look at the teams that are competing for trophies? Are we at a point now in the season where I said a couple of weeks ago, you get to a point where your season crystallizes and each team focuses on their targets now in
Yeah.
March? You know what I mean?
Definitely.
So, Man United have got that Carabao Cup, okay? They're celebrating. I've got nothing against them celebrating that. We would be celebrating a trophy. What's your take on people trying to minimize what Man United have done last weekend?
Yeah, I don't really understand that because they all had to play in it and they all weren't too happy when he got knocked out. So I don't
Mhm.
know how you can all of a sudden turn around and then go, it's a little cup. It's a trophy that everybody has an opportunity to win. And why not try to win it? For me, it just builds on itself, right? If you can win a trophy, that means you're doing something well. It helps you, I believe, to be able to compete for other trophies, the bigger ones. So why not? Why not?
Yeah.
Yeah, no, it's and United is, they are. Many would say, I think many would say they were, behind us in terms of their rebuild. I think they still had better players than us. They definitely spent a lot more money on players than us. So I don't think their return is as big as ours. We went and had to revamp the entire.
Yeah.
Basically, if you think about how many players we've had to let go, and how that all worked out for a season plus, Arteta's got players that he just doesn't want there, right? And then we have to pay to get them out of the club. So I think it's a totally different situation in United where they actually had some good players there already. They just weren't playing well together. I think that's what we see the same thing with Chelsea. Nobody thinks that they're void of talented players. They have enough. They have more than enough. They've got extras, right?
Too
And they
many.
still right. So the problem is just, and then somebody said they just need to just play the best 11, not worry about anybody else. Just try to get the
But they
team.
don't know. They don't know what their best 11 is.
But they need to
Chelsea.
just pick 11 and go with it. And then because what's the point of like you're not going to change you can't change every week, but they've got talented players. If Potter can't figure out how to get 11 players on the pitch who can play together, then he'll never be able to do that. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
I mean, he's got people around him to help him with all of that kind of stuff. So I kind of feel like that's a man not doing his job. But yeah, no, the United winning that cup it's good for them. It shows that there's progress there, and we would have taken the win in that for sure.
Sure.
For sure.
Yeah.
Here's the main difference between
Mhm.
United and Arsenal. I think I was reading just the other day that Man United's wages, that the money that they have to pay out wages over the course of a year or a season, is something like 384 or was it 389 million, whereas Arsenal's is 209. So that's a very big difference in what we're paying for our talent. As for Chelsea, they got so many players. When they go to like their matches by coach, they have to have those buses and have the bendy bit in the middle. It's like two buses with a bendy bit in the middle, so you can get more people on. They have to have one of
The
them.
webbing.
They've got so many players. They have to have one of them kind of buses. And Gary's right. No one told them to buy every player in the world. Now they can only field 11 at a time, and they're going to have to work it out quick because players are going to get angry and they're not going to believe in the manager. And I actually think that's part of the problem at Chelsea. I think that although Potter was a good up and coming British manager and doing well at Brighton, I don't think that he had enough in the bank and enough stock to deal with players with egos like Aubameyang and players of such big egos, and tell players when they need to do this, when they need to do that, when you need to sit out and miss a game. And I don't think he has respect from all of his players, because there are times when you look at them and they're walking around at times. It's not like Eddie Nketiah, where he's expending a lot of energy and working hard, and just he's trying, but his shots are not going in.
Players,
they look a little bit slovenly in their approach to the game at times.
The players have to believe in the manager or the coach, and it doesn't look like they believe in Potter, whatever he's showing them in training or in the dressing room, Gary.
That's why he has to find his 11. Screw everybody. Right now, it doesn't really matter, right? Just find your 11, find your 15, 16 players that are going to give you what you need, and then just build on them, because you can't, like you said, you can't play them all, right? They've got 30. They've got 30.
Isn't that what Mikel Arteta is doing now? He found his 15, 16.
Well, he's been doing that since he got here. I mean, that's why. Think about it. That's why certain players didn't play. He kept him on the bench. I don't know why, but he didn't. He doesn't. He looked at his bench and went, "Nope, I am not subbing out." That's what he did, and that's what Potter's just got to create his people. You know what I mean? You got to find his people who are going to play for him. It doesn't really matter who it is. I think it might be the younger players, right? But just find your people, put them on the pitch, and get them to play together, and then just go from there. I think they're I always say, humans complicate things. The man knows how to coach football. So find your 11 and go with that. Find your 15 players that you're going to put, the extra 5 to 7 players you're going to put on the bench, and then go with that. And then everybody else, screw them. Because it's not his fault that he can't play every player. It isn't. So why bother trying to, why try to battle something you can't win? He can't play more than the players.
There's no way. There's no way he wanted to buy all of these players. Todd Bowley's gone out and done this.
Look at the managers who are rumored to be lined up, waiting in the wings.
I'll be right back.
And Luis Enrique. Now, those are managers that have stature, and I think if they walk into Chelsea, you all of a sudden you get players are paying attention, they're listening. Maybe you get better performances. I'm just not sure that Graham Potter has the pull for the egos of some of these football players. I mean, these are football players that drive to work in Lamborghinis, man. They drive to work in cars worth, 800 grand, 700 grand for their car. You got to manage these people, and I think that you have sometimes in a big club with a big history and these big players, you need to have a manager that the players can look at and think, well, this guy knows what he's talking about. He's been there, he's seen it, he's done it.
Yeah, I just feel he needs to find his people. Screw it. He's not going to win trying to do what you're saying, because he doesn't have the pull, doesn't have the history, doesn't have the CV, doesn't have the receipts. So screw it. Just play the players that want to play for you. And if they either have to fire him because he's playing players they don't want, because that's what it seems like. It seems like he's got no control over anything. So screw it. Play the players you want, and try to win some games. Try to get the guys. Trying to get somebody on your side. Who's on his side? We're saying none of those players are on his side. You got to find one and then build on that and get 2 until sometime you get 7. I just think I believe he can do better than he can get players to play for him.
I've got a feeling though that with some of the players that they've got, if he leaves certain players on the bench for too long, I think that Todd Bowley is the sort of owner that will be questioning him and almost trying to pick an 11 for him. And that's probably the reason why they got rid of Tommy Tickle so quickly, because he probably didn't roll like that. He probably had his own ideas and how he wanted the playing staff to be, who they were, how they were going to play. And I just think that the case that Ziyech got sent to sign for that sign for PSG, the papers never come through, and he's back in the team. That tells me that the manager had no control there, because if you're selling a player as the manager, you're saying you're not in my plans, and now you're back in the team for the very next game. That doesn't make any sense at all. So it shows me that I don't think that the manager Potter He's not. He's not in the driving seat. Todd is.
Yeah. Yeah.
Todd's the
You know
manager.
what? You know what that means to me. It doesn't matter who they bring in then, because if you're saying that you think the owner has his hands in the pot, then it doesn't matter who they bring in, because he doesn't realize who he's bringing in then,
Exactly.
right? So if he doesn't know
Exactly.
who he's bringing in, it's not going to make a difference. Why go out and get the best manager? Stick with the guy you brought in and let him do his work, do some work, right?
And if they get it wrong, and if they have to, in say within 3-4 weeks' time, they make a decision to get rid of him because they're still losing. I don't know how they're going to do that because one, some of the these big business people have very big egos, and they would be basically saying we fucked up by getting rid of Tommy Tickle and bringing this guy in. We've got it wrong. He's on 10 million. He's on. I worked it out that the year that's gone, he's been paid for. If they got rid of him now, he'd be just shy of getting 50 million that they'd have to pay him in compensation. I mean, I don't see how they can absorb that. And I think that maybe the owners of an ego where they're going to maybe try and stick it out, because you hear him now talking about Arsenal and Arteta as a blueprint. But they are in a different situation.
But you know what? The way
their
that
players
works,
are on like 300 grand a week and that.
No, but you know how that works though. If they do that, because everybody's like looking at Arsenal, going, "Yeah, that looks like a good way to work." Well, it takes one, discipline and patience, right? The discipline to know what you actually want in a player, and if they don't meet your criteria, then they go, right?
Yeah.
As many players have left this squad that have been talented players is because you know what? It's not just talent anymore. I need you to be able to play for me. So
Yeah.
it works. And as I've always said, Arsenal wanted us to win. I just didn't want to. All right. And we've had to fight. We've had to battle through these last.
Gary's been
these
impatient.
I've been impatient because I think we have talented players, and if you don't get the most out of it, that's why you need a more seasoned manager to do that.
Well,
In Potter's case, they have thrown so much ingredients in there, and they're trying to figure out why it doesn't taste right. And it's like, you know what? That's why he needs to be able to take a step back and be able to control the situation himself. And if he's not going to be able to do that, then let them fire him.
My prediction is right. My prediction is they're going to fire Potter. They will bring in a high, a manager of stature like a Luis Enrique or a Zidane. But I think what will happen is as that journey goes along, that sort of a manager and Todd Bowley are going to find out that they're not going to be able to work together, and it's going to continue to cause a problem because Bowley's going to want to flex, and Zidane's going to say, "Don't you know who I am? Just rest, mate."
Been there.
And then somebody's going to get
more than 3 or 4 months,
and somebody's going to get headbutted, and somebody's getting headbutted. I'm serious.
They have been in 10th place for a few months now, and they're not moving. Chelsea are not moving anywhere. I hope we're going to get to a point where we don't talk about Chelsea anymore because they're a mid-table team, right? And they're the epitome of mid-table.
Same as your second team, Ray.
Yes, my second team.
Liverpool.
Who?
Liverpool.
Liverpool. Can you imagine Simeone and the chairman getting on, says the assembled? Yes, I can imagine that. Welcome, assembled. Tony, we're ready for your quadruple feature. So, that was the Chelsea segment. Now I think you're going to go to Ten Hag. Is that what you're doing, Tony?
No.
Come on, Tony. I thought you was running things.
What's your quadruple feature?
My quadruple feature is what you presented on the sheet of paper for me.
Yes.
And they'll correlate to
Yes.
Jean-Claude Van Damme movies.
Oh, okay. So the quadruple is.
Hang on, I missed all of that. What? Jean-Claude Van Damme? What's happening? Are we signing him?
Tony's going to explain it.
We got a quadruple feature of Who Gives a Fuck Games of a Week.
Yeah, but we're not there yet, Tony. You're not there yet. Jumping the gun. Tony, what do you want to say about Man United? They're involved in the FA Cup now. I think it's between City and Man United, Tony, in the FA Cup.
They
He's
have
not
30
much.
win-
He's not
they
much
have
fit.
30
Yeah.
wins, which is the most out of anybody in Europe. So I know you love giving me shit about Ten Hogs. What kind of manager we needed? I want to see somebody go out and do it in one season, not 3
Yeah.
seasons. I
It
like
didn't
the
really matter because I have no doubt, no matter who you brought in, they would have to do the exact same thing
Yeah.
as what Arteta
Were
had
you
to do.
listening to what
We
Gary
did,
said a few minutes ago?
we did not have players worth it to
Their
stick with.
salt. Yeah.
No, think about it. We had Mustafi. Was he worthy of
Hold on.
Arsenal
I
shirt?
got a banner. I just made a banner for this. Gary does not know about this. Gary doesn't know about this. We went from Colonel Mustard to Mega Legs and Socrates to Saliba. Gary,
Yeah,
take it away.
no, for sure. Like, think about the players that we had when Arteta came in. Not good. Not good. That back line was terrible. Scary, leaky. Leno was really good. Because he had that in front of think about it. He had that in front of him,
David Luiz was
right?
good in patches.
No, but that's later
patches.
on. I'm talking about as soon as Arteta came in. When
Yeah.
Arteta came in, that's what he had. He had a lot of players, one that either didn't want to play for him, didn't want to play his style, or were too big for the club, right? Ozil didn't want to. He didn't want to help. He didn't want to do what Arteta wanted. At some point, you gotta let a player go, right? So I think that
Yeah.
would have been
Yeah.
that could have been the same situation for other managers. They probably might have been able to play better with the players they had, but they would have had to get rid of him eventually. And most managers, I think a lot of us said they're going to have to revamp this squad anyways. Who do they have on it? Right? Not many good players.
Yeah.
I mean, not many good players that we needed. I mean, think about trying to think who our midfield was in that and I think the midfield was
It was
terrible
Herrera,
under Unai Emery. I think we got killed in
Herrera
midfield over
and
and over and over again.
Guendouzi, Torreira, Granit Xhaka.
Yeah, it was not a good midfield. We got destroyed in midfield in those early days after Wenger left. I mean, it was really poor. And then our back line was terrible.
Yeah.
How many times is Mustafi going to slip? Right?
Colonel Mustard.
Right? How many times has he slipped and they scored? You remember how many? It's a lot.
It's Colonel
lot.
Mustard
Sometimes
to
I'd watch
you.
a football match and he'd be in the penalty
traffic
box
cone
looking
had
at
more
something, and then from off camera he'd come
situational
sliding on his
awareness
bum.
than Colonel Mustard.
You'd be like, what the
No.
He'd slide past everything and keep going. You'd be like, where's he going?
Yeah.
So
No,
look, this
we needed to change to flip over the squad. Arteta, I think Unai Emery wasn't given the power, and Arteta was, because he was their number one priority. I think.
the anointed one.
I think they wanted him the first time, but he said, "No, I'm not ready to go because I need a little bit more seasoning on my on my
That's not what he said. He said he wanted more power in the club.
whatever." They weren't going to give him what he needed, so he didn't leave. Right? So I kind of feel like they knew it. They knew they that whole thing was just a waste. They wasted Unai Emery's time. All right, and then the man went off and basically won trophies after that. So
Look, Steven said, and listen, it's impossible to, unless you put in Ten Hag in that situation, you don't know what's going to happen. But you listen to this list of players: Mustafi, Socrates, Ozil, Guendouzi, Aubameyang, Lacazette.
That's the drizzling shits, mate.
Hector Bellerin lost his
Oh.
powers. Sorry, but
The drizzling shits.
these are players who got used to coming into the club and using it as a social club, and it's not like that anymore. Now, in saying that, Ten Hag has done a good job at Manchester United. I will recognize that.
We had a football player that was better at video games than playing football.
Yeah, Fortnite.
What the fuck is that?
Ten Hag would not have made the same mistakes Arteta made, and he could have gotten the 7 points we needed for Champions League football, and certainly would have
that's the
gotten
difference
us.
between a manager of whatever. Ten Hag's got 10 years of experience at least, and Arteta
Done well
is.
with Ajax, right?
Arteta's
Got finals.
he's in his fourth year of being a manager. I mean, that's why if you're going to go with Arteta, you have to be patient, because he's going to make silly mistakes. And
Right.
and I don't think he was listening to Albert. I believe Albert probably was trying to tell him, but he wasn't listening. Because when Albert, I just go back to when Albert managed that City match, and I'm like, that's what we want, right?
Yeah, but we've seen it less than we've seen this same football this season, right?
No, but no, we have. But I'm just saying that was how many years
Okay.
ago was that, right?
1 year ago.
Yeah.
In the last match, at one point, Arteta sat on his chair, had a drink of water. I was like, "Fucking hell, look at him
Very
sitting
calm.
down and having a drink, all fucking relaxed." You know what I mean? You don't see
so-
that much.
Arsenal looked into the future and they looked for a coach, and you got a player. You have a former player in Arteta who loves the club. We've seen the clips from Pep castigating Arsenal. He didn't like to celebrate Man City goals against Arsenal, but he had the experience of
Good
working with
awareness,
David.
though, right? That's very good awareness. You know, it's not like he came through Arsenal as, you know, he wasn't with us for a long time. He was a captain for a while, but that does show you something that, you know, he's caught up in the moment. He's part of the training, the coaching staff at Man City, you know. They're starting to win things, and you know, you'd think that every goal that it'd be you know, but he just he's like, nah, I ain't celebrating them Arsenal goals, man. And I was like, okay, I like that.
Now, he had worked with David Moyes. He's worked with Arsene Wenger. He's worked
Well, you
with
can't have it all good.
He's worked with Pep Guardiola. So,
David Moyes.
well, he might have given him something, the discipline part
Yeah,
of it.
probably
You know
that
what I mean?
first 1.5 seasons that we had with Mikel
The
Arteta
glare.
was like the David Moyes.
Man, the David Moyes glare could be that what you have in your mug right there. That glare. That could be the David
That's where you
Moyes.
learned that.
Yeah, that's where you learned that from David Moyes. No,
If you're
but seriously,
Jamaican, right? If you're Jamaican, what he's doing there, he's actually saying "cha, man, cha." It's the Jamaican thing. But go on, so.
Okay. Where to
I wouldn't
next?
swap him for the world, right? Remember, I was 50-50 when he came in. He wasn't my first
Yeah.
pick. I wasn't like, get him out. I wouldn't swap him for the world at the moment, Mikel Arteta. I think he's the right man at the right time for what we needed. And maybe if he had come in straight after Arsene Wenger, it's very difficult to come in after a long reign in person. You know, even if you look at prime ministers and presidents, you know, I got full sorry for the guy that came in after Winston Churchill. How are you going to get over that?
Yeah.
You know, so it's good that maybe there was a little bit of a gap, and I'm glad that we stuck it out with him. And he's, you know, the team now is in the shape and the image of Mikel Arteta. There's no more Liechtensteiners hiding out in the woods thinking that the war's still going on. We've gone past those days.
Yes.
Now.
Yes. Gary, we've gone from Carl Mustard to Gabriel Megalegs. He won a Ligue 1 title with Lille, and now he's on the cusp of winning a league title with Arsenal. And we have 13 games to go, but a definite upgrade. Tony, we've gone from Socrates to Saliba, a player you said would never play for Arsenal.
Man,
Let's go see if the right back wasn't out. Let's see what would have happened.
My God.
Give us that again. What was that again?
See what would happen if that right back didn't get hurt.
Ben White.
Not Ben White.
well, it's actually if Luis didn't get hurt in the first match, would we have seen Gabriel play?
Tomiyasu, you mean?
Before the first game of the season, Gabriel played because he had to. We had no choice because Luis was hurt. So I kind of you can go back all the way to the beginning. He probably doesn't even start. Who knows how many games he would get that season? But when he played and he played well and he scored, it's like, all right, it's like we got a nice center back here. All right.
Do you know what I heard about Megalegs yesterday? Apparently, when we bought him, he was actually Everton were looking at him, and he could have maybe gone to Everton if we didn't make an approach or something.
I think Man United or Lazio or Napoli.
If he was an Everton team now, I guarantee you we'd be going, wow, look at that shining star. You're going, God, look at that shit, guys, letting all that. Because it depends on your environment as well.
Exactly.
You know, and especially at the age that he is, if he's gone into an Everton team now, he may not be, doesn't mean he'll be shining and everybody will be going, oh, look at that guy. He looks really good. We should get him. He could be like the drizzling shits as well.
Yeah. So we've come a long way from Colonel Mustard to Megalegs and Socrates to Saliba. Okay, let's tie up a couple of loose ends.
From Ozil to Odegaard.
Ozil Odegaard. MO to MO. You've thought about that, right? Your man the match, Stan. Let's start off with you then. From
A
the
man of
Everton
the
game.
match. I'm going to give the man of the match to. That's a difficult one, actually. I think I might give it to Martinelli.
Mhm. Yeah, it's not difficult in my eyes. Martinelli gets it right. 2 goals. And Trossard's got to get an assist, though, for revitalizing him, I think, and helping him. I don't know if Martinelli would have kickstarted again with Eddie Nketiah on the side, Gary.
Yeah, no, I mean, some people say Saka also delivered in this game, where we don't
Mhm.
Yeah.
score the first goal and we don't score the second goal without him. So, it's it's between the two of those wingers, I think, for how this game went. I mean, I
Oh,
think a lot of
that
people.
every
I
game
like,
you think
can
it's
I
Saka
finish?
the
Can
man
I
of the
finish
match
what I
every
gotta
other
say?
game.
Can I say what I gotta say, and then you can say your thing? All right, thank you,
Oh, you
Zinchenko.
got a bike there, right?
Oh my god, dude.
I think Zinchenko also has a part to play in this. I mean, the way he played in that match. I mean, he was, as some people were saying, he played like a number 10 as a right back, as a left back there. So he
Mhm.
did well when he came up and he moved up the pitch. So I think we got 3 players that definitely helped us out in this match. I mean, once again, our defense was solid. We did not give up a goal. They did have opportunities, but the reason why they are where they are is because they can't finish. So yeah, I'm
Better put this
uh,
up before it gets retracted,
I feel
Tony.
like I feel like I'm gonna go with
This
I get Martinelli getting it, but I also feel like Saka Saka had a lot.
assembled giving Arteta credit for substitutions. Fair play to the assembled for giving credit to Arteta for the substitutions.
Yeah, but
Gary?
it was forced with the first one. I mean, so Partey coming in had nothing to do with, well, let's switch this to, let's give Partey more minutes. It was Jorginho wasn't healthy, so you never know if that's the reason, because his first subs didn't come. His regular subs didn't come in until the 72nd minute. So definitely, I think we definitely saw a difference with Partey there, but I think we could have scored more goals in the first half regardless. So. But yeah, no, I'm gonna go with Saka. I think it's it would be Saka or Martinelli. Um, Saka was
Saka for you.
one of the main reasons we won
All
that,
right.
along with Martinelli.
Gary's voting for Saka. Stan and I going for Martinelli. Alonso, what are your thoughts on the man in the match?
Yeah, I think Martinelli. I think he kind of proved us wrong. I think that it was apparent he came off very sluggish, coming back from World Cup, very tired, didn't really want to try his best. It seemed like, and at beginning moments of the Everton game, he kind of wasn't focused. He missed great cross chances there at the beginning of the game. But he came into his own. I think that Martinelli, this year with Saka, have been one of our top 5 players, not top 2 players, because their work rate has gotten better as the year has gone on. So, to me, it's Martinelli this team, because he doesn't stop trying to score goals, or doesn't try to. I think he tries to better Saka. I think there's a competition there to see who the best player is, and Martinelli kind of won me over yesterday. Kind of, he did everything you want from a winger, like Saka is. So we're lucky to have him.
Mhm.
But for me, my man of the match is Martinelli.
Martinelli, okay. Gonna throw this in here before we go to Tony. Tony, hope you're feeling better. Hope you're getting better day by day. You're still suffering with pneumonia there. I'm gonna throw this out. Everyone knows Liverpool's my second team, jokingly, right? I think Bukayo Saka is as important to Arsenal as Sadio Mane has been important to Liverpool.
Yeah, I was thinking that our wingers are kind of being quite impressive back in the old Mane and Salah days. They're
Yeah.
working really hard. But I
Yeah.
just got to say something a little bit off topic a little bit. My missus has just come home from the supermarket, right? And she's fucking bought a cabbage pizza. Exactly.
I mean,
Exactly. I'm not eating
Yeah.
that shit.
I'm Irish and I wouldn't eat that shit.
Does that
A
have one of
pizza
those
made out of
cauliflower?
fucking cabbage.
I
Does it
mean,
have a
I
cauliflower
respect
stripe?
cabbage. It is. It's St. Patrick's Day this month, Stan.
Well, do they
You
eat
know?
cabbage pizzas on St. Patrick's Day? Because I'm not eating it.
No.
I need my meat.
It's good. It's good health. Oh, so you mean there's no like meat on
It's a
it? No.
cabbage pizza. That is it.
Is there
Oh,
bread?
I thought like the dough was made out
Is there
of
dough?
the crust was made out of cabbage or
I
something
I
like
looked at
that.
the box. There's like dough looking like a pizza crust and shit, but everything on it else is cabbage.
Oh no, 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 no. You
We need
need
a picture, Stan.
Can't wait to eat that.
Put it on your timeline. We need a
what
picture.
did you do to her? Why is he mad at you?
I don't know. I'll have to find out. I'm obviously in the shit for something.
Martinelli through the middle of masterstroke. Nobody thought of that. I don't
No,
think.
and we all wanted it. Arteta said he's been working out to get there. This is nothing new. We've been wanting to see it. We saw, you know what? We saw it with Jesus. That's the thing. We saw them move around with Jesus there, right? We haven't seen it in so long. We forgot that it actually can happen.
Yeah. Tony, who's going to be the man in the match? 1 for Saka, 3 for Martinelli here.
I was a go with Martinelli, and I'll stick with Martinelli.
All right, Martinelli. Listen, he deserves it. Gary's been overruled. That one stings a bit, Gary, right?
It could have been either one for me.
See, democracy does rule.
Who
Stan.
officially won it, by the way?
Huh?
Who officially won the man of the match?
Oh,
I never
don't know.
I never listened to it long enough to find out who
Yeah,
they
I
give
don't-
it to.
I don't know.
Okay.
Sorry.
Imagine it'd be Martinelli.
I have banners for everything, but I didn't have a banner for that. Sorry.
I bet they ain't got a banner for cabbage pizza.
No, you supply that one. Okay. All right. So we got 3 W's. We need to add that one. Bournemouth, Man City. What's their mindset, Gary? Man City.
It's really they haven't been consistent, so who knows? We'll see how they play. What they play in Newcastle this week,
Newcastle,
right?
yeah.
So
They've got a Champions League game they need to win midweek.
true. So so it might not be this week that we see a dip in form. It could be the next weekend. So, as you said, I think they play Crystal Palace. So I think these 3 games they could drop points in all of them, or in just in one of them. So
They're-
yeah, no, I think like we've seen, they're just not consistent yet. And I think, as somebody said, the fact that they've now brought in Foden, things have opened up. He hasn't been healthy. That's why he hasn't played much, is my understanding. So
Dangerous
if
player.
he comes back healthy, then I think they're gonna be able to go on that run we talk about. But Arsenal, no matter what, it may not actually matter. So Arsenal just
We're
needs to
getting key
keep their
players
grip.
back as well, right?
We are getting key players back. So that game against City could be, the first 11 versus the first 11, and we'll see how this thing goes.
Yeah.
Um, I believe full strength we are equal, if not better than them. We just can't make the mistakes we made the
I gotta
last
take
time.
care of it.
I just hope they
gotta
don't
take
rush
my
him
game
back
in
too
hand,
fast.
We are not. We don't have a game in hand right now. So I'll take that off. Okay.
And I was very pleased that we kept a clean sheet at home, because our away clean sheets are very good. And you see that
Back to the clean
around-
sheets, Stan. Yes, Leicester City and now Everton.
We
right?
also, remember when we spoke last time, we said that one of the things that we're looking forward to, we want to see with this team, is a clean sheet. And we also said that we don't want to see them go behind and fight their way out of trouble. Remember that? We said, why can't we just go ahead and cruise? And we did that, because a lot of times this season, we've had to dig our way out of trouble. We've done it, but far too many times for my liking.
Yep.
Yep.
No, we're too good of a team to have to keep doing that and not be able to pull our players out earlier than not. I mean, how many games have we had to play our players up 80 minutes just to secure the win?
I think
need-
we've been good this season. Tony's been calling for us to be more efficient, and we haven't been more efficient up until Trossard, Martinelli, and Saka in recent games and playing weaker teams. Hopefully,
That's
we
what
can.
happens when you sign a real clinical player that can play in 4 different positions.
Like Trossard.
Yep.
Right. Did anyone notice
Hang on,
Nketiah
Ray, do you
ended
feel
up
good
in
about
the
Ray, do you-
advertising boards? I did. Assembled.
Do you
Stan?
feel good about Trossard, Ray? Because do you remember way before the transfer window opened? And I
We're
think
taking
maybe
our lot.
even going back to the summer window, you and I were talking a lot off
Yeah.
channel about what we would like, and we both liked Trossard, didn't we? From a long
Yeah.
time ago.
Yeah. There's a
Mhm.
few other Premier League players. Jared Bowen, I think, would be good for Saka as well, but we'll
You
see
liked
what
him?
happens. Trossard is a good player, yeah, definitely, and he may not need to score goals to show his true quality because he's engineering goals for people.
we didn't need Jesus to score, so it just opened things
The
up for
one that
everybody
was
else.
called
That's a
off.
good point, Gary. That's a good point.
What was that?
The one that was called off. That was a great goal that he made.
Yeah,
We
That
didn't
was-
need. I think Gary said we didn't need Jesus to score goals to
But
make
with
it for it to work.
Trossard, with Trossard playing the way he is, do you really want to see Jesus before
Uh-oh,
Easter?
did he?
here we go. Here we go.
He went there.
1 hour and 55 minutes. Only goes there. Okay, he's
Somebody
taking,
had to say it, right,
he's
Stan?
taking this one.
But we knew it would be Tony, right?
What did he say? Because I froze and I missed.
Something to do with
Prepare
Jesus.
yourself, Gary. Prepare yourself.
I
Something
said
to
with
do with
Trossard
Jesus and
playing the
Easter.
way he is, do we want to see Jesus before Easter?
Assembled Nketiah ended up in the advertising boards because he was
I want
trying
to look at your birth certificate, Tony. I bet it says Tony, Devil's Advocate, Turner.
he looks like devilish there. Nketiah was trying to get to the ball to cut it back, so he had to end up in the advertising boards. It doesn't show a lack of control and balance, in my opinion. You know, if you're trying to get to the end line and cut a ball back,
That's just like saying Trossard when he put that ball through to Martinelli in the Villa game. That how comes he didn't stay on the ground when he did it? He did all he could to make sure that ball got in the right spot, and that's why he let it all out, and that's what you have to do sometimes. All right.
Mhm. Yeah.
Eddie going into the advertising boards for me is no different than when you see a ball come into the box and a player goes down really low to head it, and there's loads of feet, and they're putting themselves on the line. For me, it's
Yeah.
the same thing.
Yeah. You do everything you can to keep that ball in play and get it inside. Man City active in the FA Cup. Man City active in the Champions League. They have a Champions League game to win. And we'll see what happens. They play Newcastle on Saturday. And they will have an opportunity again for a few hours to get close to us before we play Bournemouth. So what are we thinking about the weekend? I'll go to
Good to see that. I don't think quick. Good to see that
No.
they got to play their game first, right?
Yes,
And then we play ours second.
hours before, yeah.
It gives us a bit of a G up. There you go. Quick and sweet.
Yeah, and they're going to play Newcastle. Tony, you could be quite right in thinking they'll be defensively tough for City to break them down. Alonso, what are you thinking? Newcastle first game up for City at home, and then Arsenal play Bournemouth at home. We really should be saying right here, right now, we're going to get 3 points, but will City get 3 points?
Yeah, I mean, Newcastle this year have always been a tough opponent to play against because they have good defense. They defensive minded rather. But City can explode at any second of the game. Whether or not Eddie Howe can muster a win or draw against City is more likely a draw because he knows how to shut down the opposing players strengths. Having to Arsenal beginning January, I believe. So Newcastle are capable of getting a point away from the City. So it's gonna be a good defensive battle, I think. So yeah, I think as Arsenal fans can hope for a draw at best.
Yeah, and they, like I said earlier, they're going to have to redouble their efforts for Champions League now. They didn't win it. They didn't win the cup. They're going to have to go for Champions League. Stan, you want to talk real quickly about Sterling, Raheem Sterling?
Yeah, because I've seen, I know it's a long way off to the window and all that shit, but I keep seeing
Summer.
a lot of chatter about us being linked with Raheem Sterling. And I just wondered what everybody thought about that chat box and you guys on the panel, because for me, I mean, when I hear that, I get the same feeling I did when I heard about that we were signing Juninho, but that's proven so far to be working. So although I feel apprehensive about it, there is a part of me now where I'm thinking to myself, well, okay, do I just go with the manager, without and let him go with it, and then we judge it if and when it happens?
Is it a solid link?
There is a part of me that thinks that if we're going to bring in
We
Raheem
were linked to
Sterling,
him this summer.
sorry,
Is it a
Tone?
solid link?
It keeps popping up. I've seen it pop up a
It
few
had to
times.
be because we were in for him this summer. So
I think Sterling's coming to the end of his best years, and probably
How old is he now?
28,
29,
29. Yeah.
30, almost 30. I don't know.
For me, no. With Sterling, Gary.
Yeah, no, I mean it would have been good to bring him in now, but in the summer, I don't know. I think we need to. I don't know. I think we've got enough City players in.
Chelsea, City, and Chelsea players.
I was looking it up, and like as far as City hasn't won more than, I think they typically win no more than 3 games in a row in the Premier League. So they've pretty much been doing that all season. So I think they're on a 1-game winning streak right now. So
if they're going to string 10 together, they better hurry up. You know,
they haven't done that. They haven't done it all. They haven't had more than, I think 4 was early in the early part of the season, but since then, the most they've done is 2. I think maybe 2 or 3. So they're not. We just done what 3 just now. So we've been doing that a lot. That's why we've been more consistent. That's why it should be good for us. But yes, I don't like talking now about what we might do in the summer because
no, you don't.
Because all this talk, none of it actually ever happens. Were we talking about Jesus last January, last February? No, we weren't talking about Jesus or Zinchenko. So Sterling coming in for me
Villa
seems like it's not going to happen because we're already talking about it. Declan Rice, we're talking about him. Probably not going to happen because when do we ever get a player that we've spent like months and months and months on? Think about all the players that we spend months and months and months on.
They got to Chelsea.
Our left back.
Yeah, they all go to Chelsea, and
most of them don't show up.
If Declan Rice says he's ambitious to win things, he's not going to go to Chelsea.
We spent the
he's
whole
going to come to us.
Summer on Kearney over £2 million.
You know what I mean?
Similar point on Declan Rice. Your compatriot Roy Keane. I was just reading earlier today that he feels that this season Declan Rice hasn't improved from last season, and that Arsenal shouldn't look at him. Maybe should look elsewhere. I don't know what anyone else thinks. I don't watch West Ham.
I think he's got good quality. I think he's got qualities that would help us in the Champions League.
It's one of those things where it's like almost like a elephant graveyard. You stop, just you just die after. Like his skills are probably deteriorating because. Look where he is, right? I mean, it's just going downhill. So I kind of think it's more that he might get rejuvenated if he comes to Arsenal team that's like the way we are playing. But right now, there's a lot of dead carcasses over there.
I didn't like his. Yeah,
I'm laughing at Gary's elephant graveyard. I love that. I've got visions of me walking into an elephant graveyard, or the aeroplane graveyards, and then looking. Fuck me, there's Willian. There's Aubameyang.
Yeah.
There's Liechtensteiner.
Alonso,
all tucked away in there.
Yeah.
what do you think of Raheem Sterling for Arsenal?
I'm like you, Ray. I think he's kind of past his prime, but he had won with City, so I wouldn't mind it. I think he get at a pace. Towards him, I think he get also at leadership. Um, I don't know. Like it depends on what he wants as far as wages go. But he's a player that can still do it. I think that at Chelsea, he unfortunately hasn't been used well enough. Um, so I wouldn't mind him.
Yeah.
I think he goes for Ricardo Saka, some of the guys that have won. So,
He
yeah.
doesn't walk straight into our team, does he? He doesn't walk into the first team and take someone's
Raheem.
place.
Raheem Sterling now. And he would be coming for a left wing spot. Would be Martinelli or Trossard that would be playing there. Maybe Gabriel Jesus. I think we have too much on the left wing. Alonso, let's get your take on Declan Rice. You rate him?
I do. I think that he can be a special player for us. I think
Is this
it's not.
right?
Huh?
Is this right that no player at Chelsea has more than 2 goals? Oh wait, sorry. I was looking at the
That's
wrong league.
madness.
Sorry, that was the Champions League. I was like, wait a second, that doesn't
Okay,
make any
okay.
sense. That's pretty bad. No, I was looking at the wrong
The
league.
Premier League,
Ay,
Gary.
ay,
Alonso,
ay.
so Declan Rice, you like?
Alonso.
Yeah, I do. I think that it's not his fault that he can only do so much with West Ham. And David Moyes isn't the right coach for us.
Can only do so much at West Ham. True.
So, I think Roy King is not the right person to judge talent, I guess. Though, I think he's a key part for England, and there's a reason why. I think that him and Mikhail Saka and they formed a good friendship, and I think he's also English, which also is a good thing. So, there's a player there. I think he could improve at Arsenal, and he's an upgrade for sure. He's still also very young too. So, he's the guy that we need, and I mean he needs us too, or he needs Arsenal, and he wants to compete for a championship. He wants to compete for Champions League. So he'll be going to the right team if that's the case.
Yeah, he's a competitor as well. The way he was trying to wind up Nketiah last season, I think Declan Rice could be a good fit for us. Roy Keane, as an Irishman, I respect everything he did for us as a player. Not much of a manager, but I do rate his thoughts as a pundit. You know what I mean? Even though they're not complimentary towards Arsenal. That's Roy Keane.
Jorginho is still in the top 4 goal scorers at Chelsea with 2 goals. The most they've got is 5.
Gary's got his sights on Chelsea now. He's taking it off of Tottenham because Tottenham get battered everywhere they go.
Yes.
And now you got your sights on Chelsea, Gary.
I might have to get a new mug.
Tony, Sterling and Rice.
Both overpriced. We need clinical.
Yeah.
They are.
Department of the Treasury Department has spoken.
70 million euros for a guy 28 that's going downhill. 3 years ago, he's worth 100 million. He's going down. 4 goals, 2 assists. Nope. Thank you.
He's not a striker, Tony.
Does anyone want?
He plays striker at times. I didn't say he was a striker.
Richarlison, no.
Oh, that
hell
one.
no.
Okay, Declan Rice. Okay.
Hell no to Richarlison. But look, here's the next. That's 4 league games for City. They have to play Newcastle, Palace, Liverpool, Southampton, and they have a Champions League game, second leg to win at home to Leipzig. I feel they're going to drop points somewhere along the line here. We have Bournemouth
They
at
might
home.
drop them in all 3 of those games.
Yeah. While we have Bournemouth at home, Palace at home, Leeds at home, and we have a tricky Fulham away. We could win the Fulham away game. all
Yeah,
going
and I
well.
would say Palace at home's gonna be tricky.
Palace at home will be tricky, you think? No, I think City have bigger chance of dropping points here in these 4 games.
It's all about consistency, and the best team in the league has been us. Consistently, we've been pretty well. Outside of the one blip, we haven't dropped points in multiple games. So
Yeah,
um, we're playing. If we continue to play where we are, we'll be fine.
yeah,
Right.
yeah.
And if we don't have to rotate too much, yes, we have to rotate, but not too much because we can't afford it. We'll be okay as well. So Bournemouth should be able to rotate heavily if we had done it in the early parts of the season, but I don't see that happening. So
So,
yeah.
what type of team do you want to see against Bournemouth, real quick, before we get into the fixtures this weekend?
I like to think Nketiah should start and either Trossard or Martinelli rest.
Okay. And
For me.
Nketiah, are you up for Nketiah starting, Stan?
For Bournemouth,
Yeah,
nah. I want to see more of Trossard. I think
more of Trossard.
I
So
think
you're willing to see maybe Nketiah in Europe?
yeah.
Okay. Okay. Which would be more of a you might need a striker to hold on to the ball up front kind of game. Alonso,
He can't hold the ball up.
he's not bad at it. Come on.
I don't believe that's no. I don't believe so. Maybe I missed it.
Listen,
Maybe I missed
he
that part of his
misses
game.
chances, Gary, but he is able to hold on to the ball.
I don't
He
think I
drops
see that
back.
because I think that's the problem.
He
I
has
mean,
a good one. He's up.
we saw
Years ago.
Trossard come in and be able to hold the ball up with like 4 players around him. I don't think Nketiah is comfortable doing that.
He can do it to a lesser degree.
All right.
So one player.
Yeah, one player. The player that marks him. Yes.
Whereas Trossard is okay with 4 players being around him, and he's going to be able to,
Yeah.
that's why there's a difference there
In this thing. Yeah.
yeah.
Alonso, what do you want to see for Bournemouth? I think Stan might have dropped out there.
I wouldn't mind. I like Trossard being up front. I think that he shows a lot more capabilities. He can move in and out with Martinelli and Osaka, for that matter. I want to look for Eddie. I want Eddie to back into goals. But I think the system now is too good for us to not include Trezor more often. Not to say Eddie can do it, but I think Trezor is more capable right now of and changing with Martinelli and Saka. It just does things differently than it can be right now.
I think I would like to see Let's continue with this Trossard, Martinelli, Saka up front for Saturday, and I would be willing to see Eddie Nketiah try to hold up the ball. Maybe not on the Assembles TV, but I might see it on my TV. The Assembles that Ray's not good at holding the ball up on my TV. Did I go to you, Gary, about Saturday? Yeah, I think I did, right?
Yeah, I would like to see Nketiah come in and play. It'd be nice to think somebody else. I mean, Tierney or Tomiyasu. It'd be nice to see some of them play.
Definitely Tierney. The talk about Tierney is you're going to get this. So I would have thought at this point in the season that Tierney would have split minutes a little bit more with Zinchenko, but Zinchenko's really transformed the way we play. It's a tough one. We'd like to give Tierney some minutes in the Europa League, I hope, and hopefully he comes in the Premier League. Tony, what's your thoughts for Bournemouth before we get into the weekend's fixtures here?
Definitely want to see Trossard up front again. No reason to change that. I'd like to see Zinchenko, Smith Rowe, somebody on the left, and have Tierney back as left back.
Yeah. Okay. All right. So March, Alonso, we had The hunt for Red October in October. Now we've got the March before the run. You like that, Alonso?
Yeah.
All right, Stan, we're going to get into have you got anything else to say? Are you sticking around for the weekend fixtures?
Mate, what's my choices? That or cabbage fucking pizza? I'm in.
Okay.
Cabbage
Okay.
pizza.
I just-
I'm
Why?
in. I hope this
Why did
podcast
she?
goes on for fucking 5 hours, man.
Why did she hate you?
Fuck knows. I don't know. I don't know.
it's
I just want to see what the fucker looks like when it's done.
She's
Stan,
been
it's
going
for
on that
your
I need to be
health.
healthy. She's been going on that I don't eat enough vegetables and shit.
It's for
but
your
I'm like,
health,
a whole
Stan.
fucking
Yeah.
pizza?
Yeah.
No,
I
you
wanna
want
see
you
a
want a little
picture
bit of
the
lettuce
fucker
with
when
your
it's done.
hamburger.
It's
You'll
for
take
your
a little
it's for
bit
your
of
health. Yeah.
a little bit of parsley on your steak,
Coleslaw.
right?
Coleslaw. Yeah.
You'll take a little bit of
Stefan
ketchup on your
said
hot dog or your sausage, right? That's got vegetables in it.
Stefan is saying Tierney not playing is outrageous.
I need you to
Stan
go on. Right? I'm just going to get another beer, so I'll be back. I'll be right back.
Stan eating cabbage on his pizza. Is that- when I'm feeling better, I've had some like dental work today, so I'm not 100%
Are
wearing.
your pain?
I'm gonna
pain-
do a Roy Keane
Are
impersonation
your
one of
pain
these
pills
days.
kicking in, Ray? Is that what's happening?
What, Tony?
So is your pain pills kicking in? Is that what's happening?
No, it's like it's kind of hurts when I laugh. You know what I mean? Tierney not playing is outrageous. Please return to Glasgow where you will be loved. Yeah, I think we got to bring Tierney in to get some more minutes. You know, March before the run in, Gary 4-0 up against Everton. We should probably see a similar scoreline on Saturday.
I expect to see, I think so. I'd like to see that
3 or
earlier
4.
than later, right?
Yeah.
Be nice to get those goals in early so we can definitely rest some people. Because I assume we're going to play some starters and they're going to want to
Put this to bed early. Put this game to bed early, like the Everton game, and rotate some players in. Right, that's the way to go. All right, cabbage on pizza. Yeah, that's why Stan's here with us tonight. Okay, giving Tony a second to get his throat in good order. Gary, let's start off with Man City at home to Newcastle.
Yeah, I guess we'll be looking for maybe Newcastle to return back to some sort of form there. They've been struggling as of late and have had some bad matches. So I think where is it? It's in City? Is that where that
That's
one is?
City are at home. Yeah.
So that's probably going to be really tough, but they've shown that they can play on the road and try to squeak out something. So
Wow.
yeah, I'm gonna go with a draw. So
yeah, they came to the Emirates and got a draw, Gary.
Yep. So I think they can on their day, and maybe they need to, hopefully we'll see if they get back to where they've been before, because they have been struggling, dropping points and dropping positions right now. I think
I
what are they,
wonder.
fifth? Are they? They're fifth.
Yeah, they're
right?
fifth. They're
Right,
fifth.
so-
They have 2 games in hand on Tottenham, but 4 points behind. So they would need to gain some points from each of those 2 fixtures.
Yeah.
You know?
So they should. I'm expecting to see them. It'd be nice to see City drop some more drop points. As I've said, they haven't strung together three wins in a row yet.
Yeah.
For a while,
Wow.
anyways, this
Wow.
season. So in the Premier League. So
I wonder if we'll see the wingers and the fullbacks and the midfielders coming back into the wide areas to defend Foden and Mahrez. You know, Tony, thanks for hanging in there, buddy. Yep, we'll go to Alonso next for Man City. Alonso, Man City, Newcastle. The show goes on, Alonso. The show goes on.
Hey, Tony, you okay, man?
Yeah, I finally hacked up a big piece of mucus. It's
Yeah.
been making
So
me cough.
we did not need to know this.
Yeah.
Sometimes you just keep that. It's all right, Tony. We didn't need to know
You have
all
a
of it.
camera. You have a camera, Tony.
That's all right, dude.
And
We
you don't
saw everything we needed to see, and we didn't really need to
We
see
need
any
to
of it.
see your avatar sometimes, Tony. Sometimes we need to see you. Roy Keane, look at Roy Keane. We don't know what Stan's doing right now. He could be eating cabbage on a pizza.
Right. So, my score prediction, I'm telling Gary. I think Newcastle have enough to where they could shut down City's move attack. Um, I want them to win, but then whatever. So yeah, I'm going for Newcastle to draw.
Yeah, I can't see anything other than City winning this game. I'd love to get a draw out of them. Tony, Man City at home to Newcastle.
Draw.
All right, Roy Keane. He's not there. Chelsea, Gary, the next one. Chelsea at home to Leeds.
I would like to see Mr. Tom
Ooh.
happy, but
It's a big derby.
yeah,
A big game. This is a big game.
So let's make finally. Can we make Mr. Tom happy? Like I don't
Yeah.
even think I even talked.
He was
about
happy in the
last one.
reverse fixture. Leeds beat them 3-0 in the reverse fixture.
So
This one could actually have been the fifth one for you, right?
Could have been what?
Could have been the fifth one.
The fifth one.
Fifth WGAF.
Yeah. Listen, I don't do that to Mr. Tom. Leeds games are not who give a fuck games. Because Mr. Tom gives a fuck. Right, Tony? Do you
So
want to
that's
do
why
that
it's
to
safe.
Tom?
What?
Do you want to tell Tom
You think
nobody
you
gives a
think
fuck
Tony
about
likes
Leeds?
him? You think Tony likes him? That's where you've gone wrong.
Again, that's just
I see
coffee.
that smile, though. I see that smile, that evil smile from Tony.
Leave my co-host alone.
You don't like
Oh.
him. It's all right.
Well, you wanted to be designated as a who gives a fuck game, Tony.
Yeah, well, it is.
We're going to clip this up for Mr. Tom. Mr. Tom is extremely shrewd, says the assemble. He likes to moan. Yeah. He inherited Leeds. He had no choice, Gary, right?
Very much so. So he's stuck with them, and so he has to deal with it. We dealt with Arsenal. Nobody liked it. We moaned.
You know what? I thought Chelsea could beat that team last weekend, and they're playing Leeds this weekend. I have no faith in Chelsea to do
No,
anything.
Leeds on their
Leeds-
day should be able to get the win because
Or a
I
draw
think
at
they're
least.
playing. I think they're playing closer to consistent than Chelsea is. Chelsea's just pretty much yuck. So it could be, Leeds could get the win that they need because it should be promising that we did our job when we played Everton, right?
Mm-hmm.
So now it's their job to get
A
points too.
cunning plan. A cunning plan. As Stefan said, they were saying in another stream yesterday, Chavsky aren't safe yet. Don't think they will get dragged down into the fight.
Their form, I believe, since Tuchel's left, is 17th. So if they are consistent throughout the rest of this season,
Yeah.
they easily could drop.
This game is a significant grudge game because of the 1970 Cup final. I understand from Mr. Tom telling me that. I think Leeds will get a draw. Tony.
They both need a win. That usually means a draw. So
I want to hear about before we get to the end of this. I want to hear you say the words form table somewhere. Okay, Alonso, Chelsea at home to Leeds.
Oh, perfect timing. This is my I do care UK match of the week, and I'm going for Leeds to beat Chelsea.
You're going for Leeds to beat Chelsea, exactly. Can anyone see Potter being sacked if they lose to Leeds? I have said I think he's safe till the end of the season, but he has to pick up results.
I've heard he's got 2 games, which means he'll play it's the Champions League game.
Really, he could be gone if he don't have good results from those 2. He could be gone.
That's what I've heard. I think I've heard people say that, and it's like
Yeah.
either he's staying or he's gone already. Because the last match should have been the one.
Stefan said it would be amazing fall from grace for Chelsea. Rumors abound that Jose Mourinho is returning. A third. This is a biblical thing again, right? On the third day, Mourinho returned to Chelsea.
Mm.
Stan, Chelsea at home to Leeds.
Probably a draw.
Did you hear Tony wanted to designate this as a who gives a fuck game?
I give a fuck because I like seeing Chelsea lose.
Yeah, and you like Leeds. You like Mr. Tom, don't you?
Yeah, I'd like to see. I'd love to see Leeds beat them. Maybe
Yeah.
maybe a draw though, but I do think that Leeds can get something out of it.
All right,
Sure.
Arsenal at home to Bournemouth. Everybody feels we're winning that one 4-0, maybe 5. Gary, Aston Villa at home to Crystal Palace. I designated this the first WGAF game.
That is true. Yeah.
Another one of
Oh.
these mid-table. Who gives a fuck?
Well, I guess you want to see Crystal Palace win so they can be on a roll when they play City next weekend, right? So
That wouldn't be bad. Yeah.
so Crystal Palace can get a little bit of form against Villa, then they'll be able to play City a little bit tougher. So I guess we have to go with Crystal Palace with the upset.
I think Crystal Palace played well last weekend to get a draw against Liverpool, and Aston Villa are a very inconsistent team. Alonso, Aston Villa home to Crystal Palace.
Yeah, I think that I'm going for Crystal Palace.
Stan,
What's that?
Crystal Palace away to Aston Villa. It's a tough place to go, Aston Villa. It's not for everybody winning there.
I could see maybe another draw as well.
Okay, I'll stick with you. Brighton at home to West Ham.
You're not gonna let me do Crystal Palace?
No,
I thought you had your say when you talked over Gary.
Nope.
Okay, go ahead, Tony. Crystal Palace away
This
to
is
Villa.
the first one of the quadruple John
Quadruple.
movies here. We
I thought
have
you were talking about Man United
we
when you
have
said
Kickboxer
quadruple.
here, and Kickboxer is going to be a draw.
Who's Kickboxer?
You watch Kickboxer? Come on.
Okay. All right.
You
Moving
want me to
on.
go blood sport instead? Is that what you want?
Bloodsport. Yes. Jean-Claude Van Damme, right?
Yeah.
Okay. Brighton. Tony, we'll stay with you. Brighton at home to West Ham.
Since I'm thinking that's gonna be a draw because this Brighton's kind of starting to slide.
Yeah.
up.
Brighton are slowing down, right? And West Ham are getting ahead of steam up. So this could easily be a draw. Alonso?
Brighton.
Brighton to continue. Does Derby get back on track? Stan?
yeah, I'll go Brighton as well.
Brighton at home to make David Moyes unhappy, and maybe would make Mr. Tom happy in the same way. Okay, to Stan, I'll stay with you. Wolverhampton Wanderers versus Tottenham.
Oh, wow.
I thought he was talking about Eric Cantona too, Stefan. Kickboxer at Crystal Palace.
I think Tottenham will probably win that.
Yeah, you know what?
Unfortunately.
I actually do think a lot of people are saying Wolves will beat Tottenham, but I think Tottenham will actually get a win.
Yeah, actually. They're bruised, aren't they?
They needed to beat. Who did they lose to? Fulham. Who did they lose to in the FA Cup? And they couldn't.
Sheffield United.
Sheffield United. They couldn't beat Sheffield United. Disgraceful club.
Listen, gentlemen, I'm going to bow out now. I believe my cabbage pizza is almost ready.
You better take a picture of that fucker.
Why don't you bring it here and like have a bite live?
I don't know if it's for me, for her, for both of us. So, do you know what I mean? But I'm going to get off now. So thank you
right.
for having me on. Thank you to everybody that came
Thank
in.
you, Stan.
And thank you to everyone that's been around to the Guna Shakonetsi and supported. Thank you to everyone that's got involved. And I'll see you all probably on Sunday. Have a good week, everybody.
Try to survive. Take care. Tony, Wolves at home to Tottenham.
Well, guess who's first in the form table?
Wolves.
Nope.
Are they really?
Spurs are number uno.
Spurs?
Tony, why do you care so much about that table, man?
Ray used to always go to the form table. It stayed around.
Not quite true.
Spurs definitely gonna win
Okay.
this one, and this one's gonna be Kickboxer, since you want to let me do it. Our second feature film is Kickboxer.
Oh, okay. That's what you're doing with a quadruple. Okay. Kickboxer is your second feature. Okay. Alonso, Wolves at home to Tottenham.
Perfect. So this is my upset special. This is my cyborg. So I'm going for Wolves.
Wolves beating Tottenham. I think Tottenham will beat Wolves myself. All right, next one up, Southampton. Alonso, Southampton at home to Leicester City.
Southampton.
I actually have a feeling Southampton will upset Leicester City here as well. Brendan Rodgers' team seems to be slowing down, and Southampton are reasonably strong at home. And they're 3 points away from the other two teams in the bottom three. Tony?
Well,
number 3 in the matinee?
Since you said that, I'll go with Kickboxer Vengeance, since you were saying that about the manager. And I'll agree with you.
You think Southampton will beat them? Okay. Next one up, Tony. Nottingham Forest versus Everton. Number 4 on the list.
This is Kickboxer Retaliation. And this is be Forest beating the shit out of Everton. So Everton can get relegated. Like we all
that would make Mr. Tom very happy. Everton, they put up a little bit of fight against us, but Nottingham Forest very strong at home. I'll go for Forest at home. Alonso, Nottingham Forest at home to Everton.
I think Nottingham Forest would be kind of cool if they stayed up, but what's what happens? I'm going for Forest to win this game.
Yeah, Gary, Nottingham Forest home to Everton.
Yeah, that seems about right. I mean, Forest has been playing pretty well. Everton, not so good on the road. They just got right on the road. They're away, and Everton just got pretty much we handled them. So they're gonna probably want to come back, but it should be a good game. And but Nottingham Forest has shown they can score late to maybe to thwart, to take away any.
Nottingham Forest, they've climbed themselves out of a bit of trouble. I think they were probably lower than this for most of the season. Yeah. And now they're in 13th place. I think they're going to make a move here.
I mean, they've only won 1 out of the last 5, so it's not that big of a form. But I mean, there's teams behind them with more wins. So actually, I think 1, 2, 3, 4 teams behind them have at least 2 wins. And so it's been, they've not lately, but
let's skip to the Monday game, and we'll talk about Liverpool United last. Gary, Brentford at home to Fulham, 9th versus 6th.
I always say rather have the team that you're going to be playing come in playing well, right, and seeing how we have.
That's your strategy, yeah.
So if we have to play Fulham,
then you want Brentford to get a result.
Then I want Fulham to get a result, so they feel like they can get something on us, and then we just put them back in their spot.
Okay.
Brentford.
Overconfidence.
It
Yeah.
seems like Brentford might be. I mean, they might be like, isn't Tony supposedly he might be gone or something like that? Like I thought I heard like he could
Yeah.
get punished because he
Thought it was going to
he
be.
just accept he just
And it starts
basically.
this weekend, supposedly, is what I heard. So
Mm,
Yeah, he wanted to get it started early, didn't he, Tony? So
yeah,
it would be finished early, whatever the punishment's going to be.
yeah. I don't even know who Brentford has to replace him, but yeah.
They've got Wisa. They've got a few players that can come in.
Yeah, so I expect I want to Fulham might be able to beat Brentford while they're still kind of licking their wounds from
Right.
this.
Fulham having a good season, up in the 6th place.
Yep.
Liverpool have to
and
overcome
sixth in
them.
the form table, right?
Right, and Liverpool will have to overcome them to get anywhere into the European spots.
Mm.
Brentford versus Fulham, Tony.
I'm gonna go with Fulham.
Yeah, me too. I'll go with Fulham as well. I think they're a decent outfit. Brentford are difficult to beat, but I think Fulham can beat them. Alonso?
I'm going for a Fulham. I think they're just too good a team right now. I think they have doing good right here and chasing that European spot. So yeah, I'm going for a Fulham.
All right, not Stefan, Alonso. I'm looking at Stefan's post here. Poch is a decent manager. Chelsea could do worse. The game on Sunday before we go live, Alonso, will be Liverpool at home to Man United. Can Liverpool upset this United team?
I think so. I think they have enough in their bag.
At
It'd be
Anfield?
it'd be kind of it's a hard place to play at Enfield. I think right now it'd be nice to have United come off their high horse a little bit and have them lose. So I hope Liverpool put in the shift and have a shot, I guess, because United have been playing really well lately. So they've, I guess, anointed themselves as title contenders. Which I don't see it, but I think Liverpool are good enough to get by with the win.
Yeah, listen, we're on 60 points and they're on 49. So they've announced themselves as title contenders. I don't think so. Gary, Liverpool are putting some results together. They may be gathering some speed here, but
Yep.
we United are going to come in here confident as well. We're going to go to Anfield confident because they're winning games.
Yep, it would be great to see United lose, so it gives us some space to where we are right now, and that might I think I don't know if they play City again, but it'd just be nice to see them lose.
So Liverpool are going to play United, and then next weekend I don't know who they play. Tony might be able to see that. I don't know Liverpool, but then they will play City on April 1st.
So yeah, so it'd be
Liverpool gathering some pace here.
Yeah, so it'd be nice to see Liverpool maybe beat United, beat City, but then do it, kind of struggle like we've seen them do.
Yeah.
Because that's just don't want to give them too much hope.
A dip. Yeah. What do you think in this game? You think they can beat United?
I think Liverpool can.
Will they?
The United's been on a roll, but I think they've given teams opportunities, and I think if they do that to Liverpool, they might pay for it. So yeah, no, I can see Liverpool maybe stealing it. I mean, they're at home,
Big
and
atmosphere.
it isn't. It probably hasn't been as much of an advantage, but I kind of felt like at some point it might be this season. Why not? Why not? Why not this weekend?
Yeah. I think Liverpool could be United. What do you think, Tony?
I think United will win. I don't think Liverpool's good enough. They just got hammered by Madrid 5-2. So
All right, I'm calling back on Sunday.
Most teams could get punished by Real Madrid.
Gary, I hope Tony can join us on Sunday when Liverpool beat United, and we can talk about this on Sunday, Tony.
It's like, why are you guys going after me?
I thought he was going to give me a different finger there for a second. Gary, let's have your final words.
I have to blow it up first.
Yeah, no, like I said, we were kind of returned to good form. We need to continue that.
That was good.
Finish games off early. Maybe give our players some rest, and the sooner we do that, and the sooner he gets back, it'd be really good to have him back. So, yeah, another 3 points for me, please. I think we should be able to handle Bournemouth. I mean, when you're playing two relegation teams back to back, you should be able to get the 6 points that you need. So yeah, another 3 points for us, and get prepared for the Europa League knockout stage. So yeah,
we're entering a fascinating and critical part of our season as well, trying to navigate Europa and the Premier League. If we slip up in either one, you will have to ask questions. We have to get at least one trophy from this season, I believe. We've had a good season. We got to finish it with a trophy. Liverpool versus United can go either way, says Stefan. Derby Day, and whoever wants it more. Tony, feel better. We'll go to Alonso, and then you'll get the final word or cough or whatever it is. Alonso, final thoughts.
Man. Yeah, so yesterday, in the past we've had so much trouble beating the teams that are lower than us. We leave it late sometimes, so hopefully we could work on beating but destroying teams that are bottom of the table and go from that. I think that we have, or Arsenal has something special. I think Arteta finally knows whom his best 11 are. I remember a couple of years ago, he didn't know who we had. Every time we played, there was a different lineup. It seemed like. So I think Arteta has come a long way in that respect, where he kind of knows his best 11. That you're gonna have injuries during this time of the season, or any time of the season rather. So he's done pretty well. Knowing who his best players are, when them being on the starting 11 or on the bench, he's not afraid to make adjustments or change. In the past, he's had difficulties with that. You've seen him this year being better with that, and that's why I think you're seeing more subs getting more aggressive. Yeah, so I think as long as we can do those things and don't let the other team score and continue to have clean sheets, I think we'd be okay. I think this is going to be a close title chase, and we're going to hope for the best that our opponents can be our rivals as well. So, yeah, it's far from over, but I think you're seeing glimpses of what they could do on their best day.
Yeah, listen, we're not going to win the league in April, but as you said, Alonso, we can keep going and pick up points there against Bournemouth, Fulham, Palace, Leeds, maybe a way to Liverpool as well.
We could be pretty close
points.
to it with
West Ham and Southampton.
City's
before we play City, and City could drop points being involved in Champions League. We have to pick up our points now because that run-in is going to be tricky, Tony, where 3 out of the last 5 or 6 will be difficult games. But yeah, you get the final thoughts, Tony. I hope you're feeling better and you're getting back to 100%, whatever that is, right?
Yeah, I'm not sure what 100% will be, but I'm hoping for another 4-0, 5-0 type of game this weekend. Should be an easy win. But back to my health. When I found out I had pneumonia, I also found out I had an enlarged heart, so I have to have studies for that to see if that's true or just a bad deal on the x-ray. But I'm still upright, so
Exactly. You know, I had some dental surgery today, and I'm thinking of you, Tony. I shouldn't be. I shouldn't worry about such minor things as that. You have gone through a lot more than anyone that we know, anyway. So kudos to you, Tony. Gary, you'll be doing your show on Saturday.
Yeah, probably I'll do. We'll do it at. I guess it would be 3 o'clock for those across the pond. 10 a.m. Just do a watch along like I've done the last couple of matches because I'm actually gonna probably miss the Sunday games. So I'll do my regular show. It'll be an hour early, 10 o'clock. I think Mr. Tom will be on there because Leeds is playing the same time, so we'll be chatting it up on those
Yeah,
two
that'll be
games.
interesting. Yeah, you got Chelsea, Leeds, you got Arsenal, Bournemouth. Yeah.
Mhm.
All right, so tune in to Gary there. Thanks to Stan for
And
joining.
tune in to me and Todd. Sure. Are you the voice, Alonzo, for the
The Full Nelson podcast, man.
Full
the
Nelson.
one?
When is that going to be? Saturday night?
Yeah, that'd be midnight UK time.
Saturday evening, midnight UK time, Saturday evening here. Alonzo might be joining. Are you joining, Alonzo?
I am because I'm off work at 4:30.
4:32. Okay.
You have to see who wins of a poll on what pay-per-view or I watch what's past pay-per-view.
All right. We'll leave it there, everyone. Arsenal flying high. High five to everyone if you're an Arsenal fan out there. Let's bring this thing home, Alonso. Let's do it. 13 games to go in the Premier League, and we've got Europa League games to take care of as well. Let's hope, as we mentioned, the squad will be integrated more. Fabio will be playing more games. Jorginho, Partey getting up to full fitness as well. Luckily, we haven't missed Partey as we have done in previous seasons, and the January window is helping to do that. Maybe we see Kivior by the end of the season as well. And Emile Smith-Rowe is back in the fold as well. It's looking good, as Gary, I think, said earlier. Jesus, Reece Nelson, Emile Smith-Rowe coming. They're all like a new signing around here. Thanks for watching, everybody. Laughing and crying in the same show, the WTT. That's. I hope Tom is going to be laughing, maybe crying. Maybe Tom could have a roller coaster game. You know, go
Yeah,
down 1-0.
yeah. When you
and
when you
win.
said, I hope Mr. Tom is laughing. I'm like, well, that's not good.
We want him laughing. Yeah, we don't
Yeah,
want
but
to see
if
him
if
sad.
if it's one or the other, which team do you want to be smiling?
I want listen. I want Arsenal to be smiling.
There
Okay,
you go.
always
you go.
Arsenal. All right. Thanks, Alonso, for joining. Tony, feel better. Gary,
Yep.
thanks
Yep.
for joining. Also, as always, we'll see you on the next one. Take care. Kahoot, we look forward to the weekend. There's Gary's show. There's the Nelson Fools. And,
The Nelson Fools.
Oh, Nelson.
I'm just poking at you two, okay? Take care, everyone. Be safe out there.
Yeah.
Tony, take care of yourself. Say goodnight, Tony.